You guys, Peggy's being so mean right now.
I am not.
She is. She's being so mean.
Nope.
I gotta turn my notifications down. Hold on. Okay, those are
sitting,
off.
There. Now I'm sitting.
She's complaining because I sit cross-legged. Like I've done yoga for so many years. That's how I sit. You just have to deal. Look, your computer's up. Also, good morning, all.
Morning.
Peggy thinks I'm cranky. She might be right. I might be cranky.
Oh, I'm just gonna turn this off.
No, yeah, turn it off. I should turn this stream off.
You just stop sitting
Hello,
cross-legged.
everybody. No, I like sitting cross-legged. You just have to deal.
That's
You
my
don't
coffee.
have to
You're
sit
drinking
so
my coffee.
No, I was handing it to you, you jerk. Who's grumpy? Peggy just woke up like half an hour ago, and she's in Insta-me mode.
She lets me sleep in, which is beautiful. It's like, great, this is nice. I'm sleeping in. She goes, okay, we're going live.
I did not.
I'm not awake.
I
What the
said
hell are you
I
doing?
said I was gonna hang out with Simon and Kelly Bear.
Oh, I definitely need a good fart.
What? What is that? Where? Who? Oh, thanks, Dustin.
Thanks, Dustin.
Yeah, thanks so much. Let me just pop out the chat here. Hold on.
Oh, see, she's still. She's like, hurry up. But she's still messing around with stuff.
Them's fighting words. She's like bringing up all kinds of stuff. Oh
What,
my
you
word!
screwed up.
I didn't screw up.
You
Everything's fine.
Everything's awesome.
Oh, I figured out. No, you figured out. Control plus plus, right? To make the text bigger.
Control plus plus makes text bigger.
We can read. Old folks need
Literacy.
big text.
Literacy in us. Who knew?
And then you know what I should do? I should actually turn the comments off here so we're not even tempted to like lean into the. Because we have. Oh, I can't.
Stop dicking with the things.
Oh, I
Lisa,
can.
don't stop touching the things.
Stop telling me not to stop the stuff. Hide all chat messages.
Stop,
There.
press the button.
I'm doing it.
I'm
There. See, now we've got our screen here.
fun. I'm
And
fun
our
before the
comments
coffee
here.
is done.
Also,
Okay, I'll be nice. I'll try and be
Good
nice for a
morning,
little while.
everybody. Wait, that's what she said. What did we miss? Oh, Dustin, Peggy, did you see my comment Lisa's last video? I said you probably farted when we could hear you sneezing in the background. Oh yeah, I saw
Oh, I
that.
probably farted while I was sneezing. Yeah, that's.
It's like a
It's
violent
a lot of
force.
pressure.
It is. See, now I'm not sitting. Now I'm not sitting cross-legged. You're welcome.
I made a fart noise. You missed it.
I didn't miss it. I just did. Chose not to. I chose not to. Stop. Stop. This is how this chat's gonna go, you guys. It's okay enough. Jesus.
I can do a lot of them.
Apparently.
You're yelling at me.
I'm not yelling.
You're hurting
I'm
my
not
feelings.
yelling at you. Hello, Lily Ben. Hi,
Lisa's
everybody.
yelling at me.
Christine, I'm not yelling at you.
You're hurting my feelings.
We're actually. This is how this is gonna be, isn't it? God, it's been a week. We're blowing off steam. Is it freaking snowing again?
Oh, look! Something else for Lisa to be bitching about.
I'm so sick of it. We're
She
in
says I'm going to
Vancouver.
turn on the chat, and I'm like, oh, flip on the bitch switch.
God damn it.
You just swore.
I know. You guys, my filters are kind of not on right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you get the raw, unfiltered version of me, us, etc. Are you already crying because you're making yourself laugh so
No,
hard?
I've only been...
It's your sinuses.
My sinuses are draining.
Mine are doing it too, so don't.
Does anybody ever get this thing where when your sinuses are all plugged up, which mine are most of the time, and then they decide to drain, they do something to your ducts, and all of a sudden your eyes are just watering, and you're like,
It's literally, what is this? This isn't even snowing. This is slushing. It is falling slush. Big clumps of
see,
falling
you did
slush.
turn on the You did turn on the bitch switch, didn't you?
Look, I gotta drive next week. It needs to be.
Honey, this is today.
I know.
You have a week for this to go away.
I know, I can't. You
There's
guys,
this really cool invention called a
I
snowplow.
we don't have those in Vancouver. What are you talking about? You guys, somebody
There's
said,
a few.
who was it that said in chat, in Simon's chat, said February likes to tease you with really nice weather and then barf snow all over you?
Yeah,
and I was
pretty
like, that's what happened to us, and it's not normally what happens in Vancouver. So I'm just staring out the window being angry. So is you. So are you, though. You're just staring at it.
But I can just hide in the house. And
Kelly
not go
said
anywhere.
it. Yes.
I can go, no.
Hi, Simon.
I've got lots of sewing to catch up on. I'll just stay home for the next month. It'll
We're
be
in
fine.
fine form today, you guys. I have no idea how
hey,
this is going to
Simon.
go.
Hi, everybody else, by the way. I was so busy
I didn't
teasing
greet
Lisa.
anybody. I was the worst. And I was
You were too busy bitching at
That's
me.
what I was just going to say. I was too busy whining.
Okay, so we're recapping stuff.
Yes, Becky Beetle, yes. So,
the symposium.
so the Northwest Tarot Symposium is next week. I am hoping to do some videos. Yes. Possibly, maybe I can convince Jen for us to do some like late night wine and chit chat kind of things. Catch you guys up.
Oh,
on what we're
really?
doing.
Get you two liquored up and then throw you on a video.
I think it'll be great. Jen, I have a bottle of ice wine, and I'm wondering if
you
I should
can actually call her later.
I know. But she's in the chat now. It's so convenient.
Okay, guys, apparently letting me sleep in and then going live does not always work
It's a
out.
combo effect because it's been a really weird week for me.
Welcome to the Peggy and Lisa Comedy Hour.
Yeah, that's what I think, Jen. See, she says she'll be in her best form then.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wait.
We will be we'll be entertaining. It'll be good.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What you gotta do?
I found out Tammy Pie is going to the Northwest Terrace.
What you gotta do is you gotta
today.
at least once you gotta like round up everybody who you know, and do at least one like 5-minute something with like as many people as you can.
Oh,
get.
like at the symposium?
Yeah.
That would be super fun. I would totally be down. Yeah, we could invite a bunch of tarot people back to our hotel room and like do a video. That'd be cool.
Or even just
like right in the lunchroom.
right in the lobby or something.
So I'm excited for this. Jen and I purchased all the like. I'm just touched.
Are you being nice now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got
Hard to tell sometimes.
We got all the meal tickets or whatever, so we'll have lunches on site and dinner on site on Saturday. Hello, read the cards, Doug. I know.
I get 5 days off from.
Excuse me.
I'm
Did you
sorry.
do what
I'll
she's
be
doing?
lonely for 5 days.
You're such an ass.
You're not even gonna miss me. Are you kidding me? You're gonna be like, woohoo, get rid of you.
Dude, I'm gonna be shopping in Portland where you can't do anything about it.
I want my credit card
What?
back.
I'm not bringing
I
it.
want my credit card back. I want my no. We'll get it.
She's all concerned now. Isn't it cute?
Lisa deals
Jen
with
and I are power shoppers together too. It's
Okay.
pretty great.
Well,
Also, there's shopping therapy. So
I was gonna say, yeah, you deal with life through an endless series of shopping therapy. Actually, it's not that
right,
bad, but
Tammy Pie?
I'm gonna make it sound like it's that bad.
Jen's an amazing influence when I'm shopping. I'm a great influence on her too. She's some of her most expensive toys are because of me. She's into tarot because of me. She's into oh, she got that espresso machine. Because I was like, hey, you should buy this.
So what are we recapping again?
Oh look, Peggy's gonna try to get us on topic.
Let's not talk about okay, so did you
Simon just said he's a tramp, so I'm sorry. What were you saying something about us?
I don't care. Ooh,
Oh my
tramps
God.
and slags. All right.
Oh my
We're off to
God.
a good start. Where's Becca?
Right? Yeah, where is Becca?
Well,
Get
she's
in
probably,
here.
Everybody has. She's
They have
probably busy.
actual lives, maybe.
She has an actual life and probably has actual things to do, which is probably why she's not
Oh.
around at this time of day.
My face hurts already. So, by the way, hello to everybody I didn't say hello
Really?
to. Yeah. What? Are you helping?
Did your face hurt since I
Yeah,
can
it
help
does. Oh my God. Oh, we're supposed to be talking about self-worth.
Oh yeah. Well,
It's been an
I have a
emotional,
pretty
crazy
strong
week.
sense of self-worth, so I'm like, yeah, let's have a good time. Anyway,
Yeah.
this is my first coffee. It's like,
It's funny we can.
I'm still adjusting to being upright.
That's right, Jen. Tramps and slags are totally welcome in my chat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
The
too.
more the better, because it makes it more fun for me.
So, speaking of Northwest Terrace Symposium, because I will be in
Oh
Portland.
shit! There's a giant bookstore there.
Well, yeah.
You're not going to Portland.
Powell.
I'm sorry, you
it's
can't
called
go.
Powell City.
I'm sorry, you're not feeling well.
I told you about this before.
I'm gonna make sure you're not feeling
Whose
well.
idea was it that I get to go again? Remind me.
Not my.
Sorry,
no.
what? Who was it that was like, yeah, buy the ticket?
Jen, you're not helping
Who was
because
it?
she's gonna be locked in the
It's
room.
called Powell City of Books.
You're gonna be locked in the bedroom and not. I'm sorry, if for some reason she can't make it to the door, you're staying home.
No. So many books in tarot decks.
Yep.
I've already
Apparently, we'll be discussing a budget later.
yeah, you're cute. Anyway, so speaking of next weekend, I need to say this before I forget. There won't be a Self-Worth Saturday next Saturday because I'll be in Portland, so that won't happen.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for, Jen.
If it makes you feel, Peggy, it can be so overwhelming that I can walk out without buying anything. I mean, it only helps
Yeah,
Jen
it's
because
not
that's
really
what
helping
it
all
doesn't-
that much because I know you two will just support each other through that step.
It's true.
Oh, I'm
Also,
overwhelmed. No, honey, don't be. Let's go shopping.
Excuse me.
Shop some more. Keep buying things.
Yeah, I don't do that in bookstores. I get
Okay,
overwhelmed and then I still buy
Okay, you're
stuff.
scaring me. Let's talk about something else.
Okay, self-worth. Hello,
Self-worth.
Tar Apple.
Hi, Tara Apple. Hi, everybody else.
Excuse me.
I think some people came in.
There's a whole
I don't
bunch of
know.
people that I didn't say hello to, but just consider this your hello because I'm very scattered.
Really? You're thinking about shopping. Like, I mean, these people don't exist now. It's like, shopping.
It's been a
She's
difficult
like,
week.
shopping.
And
Books.
Also, I will. I
Hi,
may.
Satya.
I may record.
Bye, Satya.
Oh, bye. Hi.
Hi and goodbye to anybody who
Hi,
pops
Farah.
in but can't stay.
Other thing that's happening today is I'm going for a float. I'm going to one of those float
float
spas.
spa.
And I'm so excited. It's like an isolation tank. And you get in it and there's like 11 or 12 inches of water with like 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt in it. So you float like
yeah,
a cork.
Jen, no.
Well,
I
some of
have
them-
to forgive her later.
No, you don't.
As long as you can pay the bill.
Exactly. It's fine.
Wait.
Anyway.
We don't need to eat this month. It'll be fine.
Look, there's ramen and like chicken noodle soup and like hot dogs. You'll be fine.
Don't like hot dogs and I don't like chicken noodle soup.
But you like ramen. I'll just buy you lots of mee goreng and eggs, and then I'll put you in another room so that your farts don't scare you from all the eggs.
Who finds that they can't eat a lot of eggs without losing a few friends?
Everybody? Like everybody? Egg farts are the worst.
Sort of new cult, the cult of
Oh,
the egg.
sad, yeah. So yeah, I'm floating. So back to what I was saying. So I'm gonna go for a float, and I'm actually really excited because I like legit get into large bodies of water and float anyway. So like I feel like I'm gonna extra float.
Extra float?
Extra float.
It's gonna be extra
Some
floaty.
people don't float easy. I float easy. I think it's like my body shape or something. I'm very buoyant. Everybody buy Peggy back so she can afford all of this. Right?
Yeah, see this is the thing. If she you're gonna know how much you guys are gonna be able to sort out how much Lisa spent on shopping while she's away next week based on whether or not I start up a please buy my bags channel just to beg you guys to buy.
Well, you know what? We've already discussed that there may be something happening after the conference at some point.
Yeah, we're doing something
for you
yeah.
guys, but yeah, you're scared of large bodies. Jen, you would totally float in one of these float spas.
I don't like water.
And they called me to confirm my appointment yesterday, and I got really excited because I booked this like Valentine's Day special where like the float was cheap.
To go by herself.
Yeah. You don't want
True love.
Anyways, whatever. I love you. Moving on.
Whatever.
Did you want to go into an isolation tank and float?
Well, I bought you
in 1,000
chocolate.
pounds of salt.
Okay,
wait. Hold on. Do you want to go float?
No.
Okay, that's where it stops.
But no. I just have an observation.
No, I know all the chocolate, and I bought you nothing. I know you're gonna make me feel bad.
No. Shh. I bought you all the chocolate, and you bought yourself a float.
Can you put a Becky? If I can simulate that in my bathtub for free with more control.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt. Also, total pitch darkness. I'm still watching the snow and getting annoyed. All the pitch darkness.
Oh, you're fun.
But they
called.
called.
Close the blinds so you can't see.
They
you
called
pretend it doesn't exist.
They called to confirm my appointment, and they're like, "Oh, blah blah blah. So you booked this float session?" And I was like, "Yes." And I booked it for the Valentine's Day special just because it was cheaper.
Just because you can go without me.
It was cheaper.
Leave me at home.
So you're seriously. Anyway,
Not
so they're like, "Oh, and by the way, your package you booked comes with like a 15-minute hydro massage," and I'm like.
Don't shave, it says.
Yeah, they tell you that on
that
the phone.
salt is gonna sting.
Yeah, no, they say don't shave, because of stinging. You also can't rub your eyes and stuff when you're in it, yeah, not good. Bring tissues if you cry. I'm gonna have like
Oh, she's probably just gonna lay in there and just bawl for 90 minutes.
Probably.
That would be great.
You guys, seriously, one of the things that was so appealing is I get a room to myself for 90 minutes that's soundproof, like.
I mean, I could throw you back in the bathroom and just put towels over the wall.
It's still not soundproof. So
we can lock you in the back somewhere, and then Steven and I can go for a walk. We won't hear you no matter how loud you scream. Anyway, we're not even home.
I feel like it will be very therapeutic. So I'm very excited about that. And all of the ocean energy around me right now is like, I can't really just traipse off to the beach right now, but I can go to a float tank. I mean, I can, but thank you for helping yet again, Dustin.
Exactly,
Thank you.
Dustin. I'm thinking.
What is it with you? Do you not have my back at all? Like what the heck?
I adopted him. Remember?
Yes, I know.
He's mine now.
He's the reason.
No, he's mine. I adopted him. He's mine.
He's the
mine.
Stop talking. He's the reason I got a torpedo of toilet paper and paper towels thrown at me in my last live video.
That was the adoption.
That was
paperwork.
all Dustin. That was the adoption
paperwork.
Okay, stop talking. I read back the comments. He was such an instigator. Yeah. I was like, what are you doing? I read, and I was so surprised. I think both times she came in. First she came in and threw a roll of paper towels at me because Dustin said he would die if she did it. So of course she did it. And then everybody started talking about toilet. Oh, Jesus. Okay, here we go.
Look what I found.
So this is what happens when you take Peggy out in public. She buys toilets.
It's a little toy.
We are going to eventually talk about self-worth, I think, maybe.
It's a little toy. So you open up all the packaging and this piece is closed. You pour water in here and then put the lid back on. Shake it up, and then there's a piece here that dissolves.
The disgusting green film on the top dissolves.
It's a green film that dissolves, and then the little toys are revealed, and then you get the little toys
It's like
out.
a really dumb
It's
blind
really
bag.
It's a really dumb thing, but
it's just like a
shaped
blind
like
bag with a toilet shaped
and-
container.
And don't worry, they were like,
Hi, Caroline. Hi.
hi.
You came in just in time to
hi.
talk toilet humor.
So, but
Why are you
but,
putting the toilet in front of my
they were-
face? Just put it in between us, you weirdo.
They
You're
were
such a You're who I'm gonna lock in the basement. Right? You can
We
hang out
don't
in
have
the
a
basement with my
basement.
beautiful creatures tarot.
We don't have a basement.
It's a virtual basement. It's a mind.
It's a virtual basement.
Why is it still flipping
I have
snowing?
I have a pair of toilets. Yeah, this was just cute. They were like on sale for like $1.50 or something.
They were $1.50.
super cheap.
Which in like real dollars is like $1. It's just Canadian
I
dollars.
have one more.
Hi, Rochelle.
I have one more, and I think I might save that for a contest because
Oh,
I'm
no,
sure
it's
that
definitely-
everybody would like to have a toilet sent to them by me.
You're gonna send one of those in a giveaway? Is that what you said?
Maybe I haven't decided. I got one left, and I haven't.
I wasn't
done anything
actually
with it.
listening. The tiny bowl man can fit in there.
Yeah, the tiny bowl man. Anyway, normally chat is speedy. But
I'm just trying to keep up with you two. Forget the chat.
Yeah,
I know I was feeling a little off the one day. I can't remember.
Which day?
Tired or something. I don't know.
There's
all week, but I mean,
so many of them. I love you.
Yeah, you better.
Okay, we're supposed to be talking about self-worth.
Has
Has anybody been doing the exercises either as recommended or in a way that makes sense to them? We're not asking anybody to disclose, but
Unless they want to.
unless they want to, but just asking if anybody's actually felt like they've gotten anything out of the actual do it on your
Yeah,
own
we want to
exercise.
check in about how it's going and what you guys are feeling and thinking
We love
about.
making suggestions and telling people what to do, but we want to make sure that you're
It's actually useful in some way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to check in about how it's been going for you guys. And we've had like 4 or 5 topics now.
Yeah.
It's self-sabotage, people-pleasing, inner critic, and standing up for yourself, right? Did I miss any?
No, I think that's the
No.
4.
So 4 topics.
What was your first one? Do you remember what the
The
first
first
one
one was people-please. Nope, the first one was self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage.
Then it was people-pleasing. Then it was standing up for yourself. Then it was inner critic.
Yeah, I only exercise if I don't have to move.
Oh, good. I mean, not on the exercise. Sorry, good on New Age Newbie. Yes, I've learned so much from you both. That's good. And yes, Farah, thank you for the feedback. So right now, the format is the topic, journal prompts,
Did
and
you just burp?
no, I just caught my breath.
Oh, that's like you fought off a burp. Look at that look. I'm right.
Currently, the
right.
format. Excuse me. My throat is doing weird things. Yeah. So the format right now, I'm doing journal prompts and I'm doing an activity. So 2 questions: has anybody been finding the journal prompts useful? Should I continue with those? And the other question is, have you guys been finding the activities useful, and should we continue with those, like the challenge? And I know that the live chats have been really, really great, so those are definitely staying. So yeah, I just kind of want to check in on the different things that we're doing and if we should continue with the same prompts. Oh, nice. Nice. I've journaled on the topics and noted times, and I've caught myself in the associated mindsets. That's fantastic. Yeah,
that's what Lisa's always like written.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, good. Okay, good. And that's one of those things. The prompts are very personal prompts, so I don't expect anybody's gonna ever share those. So I wanted to check in and make sure that they are still useful.
Hi, Christina.
Hi, Christina. Welcome to our insane
Welcome to the
live
first
chat.
live chat.
We're a
Hey,
little bit.
don't forget to like and don't forget to click the thumbs up, guys.
Peggy's my shill and I'm her shill. This is what we do.
We're bad.
I
So-
show you.
so
I
what
show
was
your
your-
bags and you show my channel. That's how.
The
we work out.
videos, they're gonna be. Do you mean the videos, Amy? They're part of a play. Lisa has them all in a playlist.
Yes, so if you go to my channel and click playlist, you'll see Self-Worth Saturday all in a playlist, and it'll have the video and the live chats from every previous week we've ever done it. So
And they'll stay there forever.
And I'm always looking for new topics. We can do that in this live. Normally I say leave a comment, but you can leave me some suggestions in the live chat, and I'll actually make notes since this is a more casual format today. Keep doing what you're doing. Perfect. Yay.
Yay. Okay.
Lots of good feedback.
Thanks for the ego stroke, guys.
We needed the ego stroke.
Okay, so what was the first video that you did?
The first video was self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage.
Yes.
So.
Oh, Peggy's doing
No,
the
no,
thing.
no,
She's gonna
so-
actually keep us on, on topic.
Well, we kind of have
Maybe.
to.
Let's see how it goes.
That's what we're supposed to be doing, so we'll do it for a while, I guess.
But she's holding my hand, so I guess I have to let her. Is that how it works? And then she's smacking my hand, so I don't know if that's good or bad. It's like a self-help book without
Yeah.
the reading and with laughs. Oh, good. Good.
That's kind of what the intention was supposed to be. So self-sabotage. So that was the first video. So it's been about 4 weeks. Has anybody, obviously, okay, everybody self-sabotages some of the time over some things.
Yeah.
So has anybody found themselves, I can't say found themselves because it's like, I really hope that people are finding themselves being more aware of it and finding opportunities to stop themselves and pull back. But like, has anybody like had the opportunity to give it more thought, more
like
awareness,
marinate on it more?
Marinate on it. Because I find that once people are more aware of self-sabotage, they start, because like you're not always going to notice, we're quite often aware of the big things and just don't know what to do about it. But being aware of the little things so that we can start practicing.
Here's a tangible question that might be easier to answer.
Okay.
Have you found yourself doing...
And you don't have to answer us.
No.
Just
have you found yourself doing a few more things that maybe you would have stopped yourself from doing because of self-sabotage before? Like, have you found yourself making progress in areas where maybe you wouldn't have before?
Yeah, because I find that...
Yeah, because that's what self-sabotage is, basically. It's like you stop yourself from making progress.
And like all things, you don't just go, okay, I know what it is, so it's done now. Like, you have to practice. You don't just hop on a bike and go. You have to practice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And I think we pretty much covered the topic in detail on the first video. Go back and rewatch that, guys. And
Such a good show. So cute, too.
such a good show.
The biggest thing I noticed, I stepped back from someone who I relied on their opinion too much.
Oh, yeah, that's
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
because
Have that discernment and...
that can actually be...
And Jen's right. Yeah, Jen says, I started my tarot Instagram, dipping my toe into the water. I was too scared to do it before I put myself out there. Yes, you sure did. That's so awesome. And then Grunewald self-sabotage challenge, week 1, buy fruit instead of Pop-Tarts. Week 2, throw away banana without eating them. Week 3, buy kiwis and star fruit. Week 4, eat a kiwi. That's exactly it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's exactly it.
And it's not, because one of the biggest problems is we say, oh, I've identified this problem. And then you have to jump in, feet first, over your head, and then you go, oh my God, this is way too hard, because you're trying to, you're trying to fix it in one step, and it's never...
Simon says he finds himself saying yes more. That's perfect. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm believing
because that's me too. I tend to say no. I stop myself before I can experience the good thing. Jen, don't forget to share your Instagram handle in case anybody wants to follow you over there. New Age Newbie. It made me more aware of how I self-sabotage. I knew the big things, but I realized I talked myself out of doing fun things just because I don't feel I deserve the happiness. Yes. Totally.
And then you'll find, and then you'll find that over time, as you get used to not sabotaging yourself, it's progressive.
That's kind of ties into
I just love to hear that people are like,
it kind of ties in, though. I just wanted to say this really quickly. It kind of ties into what Simon said too about saying yes.
Yeah, marinate and tenderize you. Sorry, I'm ignoring you.
Yeah, don't do that, because then we get confusing when it's washed back. But shush. But this thing about saying yes is actually a really big thing, because sometimes we get in the habit of avoiding the things that move us forward or that help us grow, and so we say no, or we get for those of us, at least me, I find that because sometimes I'm a little bit socially anxious, I don't connect as much as I could, which is a form of self-sabotage, because I'm not going to get better if I don't put myself out there.
Yeah.
So
overwhelmed by my things, but keep bringing in more stuff. Yeah, and it's just a matter, and so that's
awareness is the biggest piece.
A little bit less, it gets, but you can't just. Okay, sometimes you can. Sometimes things reaches an extreme where you have no choice to go, okay, just make it all gone.
Switch kind of thing.
Switch. But sometimes if we go a little less, or whatever it is you're trying to resolve, a little less, a little more.
Yeah.
And sometimes small steps, and maybe you still have a few big band-aids to rip off, but it'll certainly make it a lot easier.
Yeah. I find that if I pretend that I can make... It's kind of
putting yourself out there more.
Because one of the things Simon says, he says, and believing I can do it. So saying yes and then believing you can, those two things are not always together. So sometimes you might say yes, but you're still convinced it's going to go badly. So if you can pretend that you believe it's going to go fine, it's easier to say yes. Does that make sense?
Well, no. For me, I'm kind of an opposite.
You're a Martian. That's fine.
Well, I kind of say to myself, okay, I want to do the thing.
Hello, Simu.
But I don't think I can do the thing. Then I say to myself, what is my worst case scenario? What is the absolute worst?
We talked about that with inner critic.
Yeah, but this is also with self-sabotaging. It's like if I do the thing and it doesn't work out, how bad can things get? So it's from it's all relative because I've been saying, and I think I say it on almost every single video, that everything
What's
is
this? What is this?
everything is interconnected
Oh,
into one
okay.
big whole.
In one big hole? Oh, not
W-H-O-L-E.
HOLE, WHOL. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You need more coffee.
Yes.
But everything's interconnected. So the same tactic that works to solve one problem quite often can
I can take care of that. You just talk.
somebody else got it, I think. Yeah, there is. The same tactic that can solve one problem in your life can also be used to solve other problems. And for me, it's there's worst case scenario of pessimism, and I'm not like that. It's like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Oh, that ain't so bad, and then you just go do it.
Yeah.
And then
yeah, see, like Science says, I now say yes and then work out how I can do it rather than
Yes.
believe you can't and stop yourself.
Exactly.
This
Exactly.
is totally me. And yeah, like Heidi said,
Yeah,
she's
it's
putting
like-
herself out there more.
It's like, oh, let's go to the bar and party tonight. It's, I don't really want to get drunk, and it's like, oh wait, I don't have to drink that much. I mean,
Yes.
that's the thing. It's
Jen
like,
just pointed out, because so this is something that Jen and I both dealt with a little bit. So there is a dinner before Northwest Tarot Symposium that Ethany is hosting, as and a couple of other people I think are hosting.
yeah, imposter syndrome. That's huge. We all have it.
You're interrupting.
That's okay.
Stop it.
You don't mind.
I do mind. I'm telling a story. You just
Drink more
stop
co-
talking.
Stop bitching. Stop.
um,
Switch.
Anyway, we had this conversation about like how we were both kind of shy and like, you know, so yeah, putting yourself out there in a situation where it's like, well, wait, if we just kind of like rip the Band-Aid off and go, then we'll have connected with some people before the event kind of gets rolling, which might give us more confidence. And it was like this whole kind of snowball effect thing that we discussed of like, yeah, let's just do it.
Right, and for me, now this is how my worst case scenario thinking goes. For me, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get shy. I'm not gonna say much, so I'm gonna sit and listen and learn a lot. Okay,
And that's
not so
fair.
bad, is
Yeah.
it? That's not
Peggy
the
is
end of the
actually,
fucking world.
in some ways, Peggy has been my safety net for a long time in a way that because she's naturally extroverted and I can be very,
Just a
very
little.
shy. It doesn't come across on camera very much because I'm in the safety of my own living room, but I can be really almost cripplingly shy sometimes.
Oh yeah, she's crazy shy.
What would happen is we would go to an event together and
Or
Peggy,
you get really nervous and then you start talking and don't stop.
That's not the story I'm telling. Can I tell my story?
No, it's fine.
Yes. So anyways, I really am kind of bitchy today. Anyways, so she's really good about like if I get quiet because I just kind of like am not sure how to engage, Peggy will engage, and then I can kind of ride her coattails in a way that makes me feel really safe and good to engage just at whatever level I want to. So that was really good for me coming out of my shell a bit. And Satya says, I just wanted to acknowledge this too. She says, participating here is a big step for me. I can be so socially anxious that even doing this texting is so difficult. Doing this / texting is so difficult connecting with even close friends. I totally relate. There are friends I'm actually really bad at keeping up with. I had a friend reach out to me this week because of everything that's been going on. And I said to him, I was like, God, I've been so bad at keeping in touch. Like, thank you so much for reaching out. And he's like, I get it. Like, we've known each other for like a really, really long, this is Darren. We've known each other for a really, really long time. And he's like, I get it. Like, I know it's fine. We're not going anywhere.
It's really easy
like,
to
so some people know and it's kind of sort of okay. And some people you're not sure. And it's hard. I just want to.
I just want to address Jen's comment. Especially when, referring to the specific example of going to this dinner, especially when lots of folks seem to know each other, it's hard to find where to fit in. And the thing is that your problem isn't finding where to fit in.
You're so, are we leggy?
Leggy.
Sorry, I just realized. I know I totally interrupted you after yelling at you.
You just stay there.
My neck doesn't bend that way. It's
That's
like,
okay. The thing is, it's hard to find where to fit in. But the thing is that the issue with that particular example, the issue is you don't have to fit in.
Yeah.
You don't have to fit in. It doesn't have to work out. Nothing has to go right.
Oh. I'm like, where is she going with this?
Because you've gone somewhere, you've done something, you've tried something new. You will fit in over time.
That's true. You still have the experience.
You still have the experience, and you will if this is going to be a good fit for you, then you will then it will build over time.
Yeah, and she also said, I mean that with these chats as well. I was so scared to start commenting.
Yeah.
And it's funny because
we've got lots of people commenting. Now this is the interesting thing. We've got lots of people commenting here who, if we're talking about specific topics and specific situations,
and I know Amy Knowles.
we've got people commenting that if we were in the real world in our homes, I'm not saying we wouldn't like each other because obviously we all are resonating with each other in a very positive way. We might find ourselves with not as much in common as we thought outside. Like some people have young kids. Our kids are adults. So some people are very driven by their careers. Other people aren't. You're going to find ways in which you do mesh and ways in which you don't.
Yeah.
And it's got nothing to do with who anybody is or whether or not you like and respect each other.
Yeah.
We all like and respect each other here.
There's this thing about fitting in general, which is a problematic idea to begin with. It's like
there's not a list. There's no boxes.
What I was gonna say is that I mean, what they're fitting in is kind of a misnomer. It doesn't actually exist. What happens is that a bunch of different people with different personalities create an energy together. I know that sounds really woo, but like what I mean is that when we're just all being ourselves, that's when we all feel like we belong. It's not because we're acting like everybody else or because we're somehow doing something that warrants us being accepted. It's that because we accept ourselves, when we do that, when we go in and go, I'm just going to be myself, that's when you feel like you belong. It's this weird kind of catch-22 double-edged sword thing where it's like...
that's kind of like if everybody were to be here, if we were to have all 26 of you in the room with us here right now, we would find a couple of people would be over there talking business, a couple of people would be over there talking toddlers, a couple of people would be over there talking adult children, hobbies, and we all still get along and we all still connected. We all still fit in.
I was going to say, we all still fit in because we're all being ourselves.
We all still fit in because there's things that connect us in spite of the things that don't.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And you have every right to approach any group or situation to see where you may or may not fit in with that particular group. But you can't just walk in and expect to be the star of the show the minute you walk in the door.
Yeah.
That takes time.
And I also think there's a
Except for me, because I am uber extra special.
And Peggy's the humblest ever.
I am the humblest of the humble.
I also think there's a point to be made here about how when I was first learning to be... Wait. Sorry, no. Wait. I'm still in the middle of thought.
Okay.
There's something to be said about, like, not measuring how worthy you are by the number of connections you have. Because I spent a lot of years thinking how many friends I had mattered more than... like the quality of connection. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, Simon just said, I know I'd just still be talking tarot, one track pony. I goes, and it's like, do you think you're the only one?
Yeah, like, I mean,
there's, and the thing is, or you'd be talking slags.
Slags and tarot.
Slags and tarot.
I really liked that, like, snog, marry, avoid game you guys did in your chat.
Yeah, it helps you connect with people unexpected. We all have, so yeah, like, I mean... Coffee? Some people, everybody fits in their own way. Yeah. Period. And sometimes, depending on the context, depending on where you are, what you are, it may take longer to fit in with a particular group.
But again, it's still the same thing.
Tart slags. Tarot slags.
Tarot slags.
Tart slags.
I like tarts. Tarts and slags kind of are semi-related, aren't they?
I'm not sure.
Isn't tart another word for?
I think tart has tart here in North America just means somebody who's a bit of a smart mouth, cheeky, whatever. But I think, and I'll have to ask Simon to be the expert on this. But doesn't tart mean something a lot more offensive in Europe and the UK?
Does it?
I think so.
Oh, Farah, you don't have to connect with gods and goddesses to fit in tarot tube. There are people who are Christian who are into tarot. There are people who are like. There are people who are not into deity at all who are into tarot. There are plenty of agnostic and atheistic tarot nerds. There are tarot geeks of all kinds.
Yeah.
Come into the tarot geekdom. You fit in just fine.
Tardy is slutty.
Yeah.
Yeah, tardy.
Oh. I thought it was like sassy. But that's North America versus maybe Britain.
I don't know. In Canada, we use both meanings. But I think in the States, a tart, if somebody's... Unless you're, I think, and maybe some Americans would clarify that. But I think if somebody refers to you as a tart in the States, it just means you're a little bit mouthy, cheeky. You back talk. But I don't. We actually use both in Canada because we're very connected to Britain.
It's also confusing.
It's very confusing to be. It's like what does that? How are you? Well, it's all context, right? 2 and 2 has 3 different meanings and 3 different spellings.
English is stupid. Does it mean slut in the States? Okay, so clearly this is just me being naive. I have no idea. It's definitely slutty in the States. Oh, okay. Well, it's just me then.
No, that's
definitely
fine.
Just me. I was like, I thought it meant kind of like sweet.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I know tart is a flirt.
Yeah,
see?
It's got
so maybe
meanings.
It's like who you grew up around or like.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's got nothing.
I'm from a not unique, but I'm from Ontario originally, so we have the American because we have American TV we're aware of what the American meaning of certain words is. because we're in Canada, we have our own meaning with certain words. Is if you're Ontario, you also have a little bit of the Quebec influence to what
Hi,
certain
Satya.
words mean, and then we have an awareness of what the British is.
Yeah, that's true.
So sometimes you can hear people saying things, and especially in some areas of Ontario, but you can hear people using certain words, and they mean a completely different thing.
So that is how we're all doing, I guess, with self-sabotage. So let's talk about how we're doing with people-pleasing.
People-pleasing. Fuck them. Has anybody done that yet? I don't need to say the thing or do the thing to make you happy because I matter too.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing with that? Because that's actually a really hard one.
This is how come Jen and I almost didn't do the dinner, though. Because I thought that she really wanted to go to a book signing instead, and she thought I really wanted to go to a book signing instead. And then we're like, wait, what? And then we kind of had that moment where, like, neither one of us was saying what we actually preferred. So we're like, and I was just like, wait, do you actually prefer to do this over that? She's like, no, I thought you did. And she's like, oh, okay. So then we had the conversation and we made the plans. But it is hard. It's hard.
It's really hard to say. It's really hard to just say what you want.
Yeah, Christine was like, I'm not a people pleaser. It's the opposite. Yeah, I spent a lot of years being a people pleaser. I'm still a people pleaser, really, when I'm not being mindful.
I actually can be in little ways that don't matter.
I don't mind that. That's fine. You just keep it up. I get chocolate. I'm just kidding. I
didn't get you chocolate to be a people pleaser.
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I got a little kiss on the cheek.
You got a little kiss on the cheek.
Usually you're slapping me there.
Oh my God! That's so mean. Simon, if I'm honest, I still people please. It's like I have to be light. Like I need to be validated. I totally understand, Simon.
Yeah.
It's a very ingrained thing that happens. It's for me. I'm gonna say it's a million times. For me, it's automatic unless I kick in my conscious awareness to it. So my default setting is to be people pleasing, and I have to bring actual work to the table and I have to manage to notice it for starters, and then kick in a new way of being. It's hard because when you're standing up for yourself. Oh, light, not light. Gotcha. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I can't thumb type at all. You guys, if you ever see me like not being very like talkative in chats, it's because I'm thumb typing, and I hate thumb typing. I'm so bad at it.
No, I mean, people pleasing is a natural thing that people do because obviously we want to get along with each other. So making small concessions in small ways for the sake of getting along is a very normal, healthy thing to do. But it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum. It's all, and it's how much do you devalue your own needs to make somebody else happy? It's all a spectrum. Every last bit of it is a spectrum. Yeah. And so it can be a little thing like always after you, you go first, after you. That's people pleasing. Or even walking down the sidewalk and always dodging other people, but never just holding your space and walking. Always being the one to step around. That's people pleasing because you don't want to have nobody wants to have an unnecessary confrontation that's easily avoided. In Canada, it looks like bumping into somebody and then apologizing to the person that bumped into you, and then they apologize and you go back and forth like three or four times. Because nobody wants to actually, like, the person that you, like, you get bumped into, and the person that gets bumped into says sorry first most of the time. It's like, what? What just happened? Honestly, Canada. Basically, that is Canadian for, I don't want to have a confrontation with you, let's just keep going. Yeah. That's usually when the Canadian sorry. Ooh, Farah stood up for herself. My friend was flaking out on plans, and I called her out and said, don't do that. How did she react, Farah? I'm curious how that went. Yeah, but... Yeah, no, Tarapo, you're right. That is being considerate, but in its extreme, that's where people pleasing comes from. At least that's how I mean. To me, it's like a spectrum. You can be considerate, and then at a certain point, you actually start to devalue you in deference to other people. See, Farah said she understood. That is awesome. That is awesome. Yep. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just they don't know. People don't know that they've bothered or upset you. But it's also it's also just like the first thing. Every single example, every single thing is going to have the exact same solution in my mind, and that is you can't just go, I'm gonna stop doing that, and then suddenly you're just this aggressive asshole that nobody can stand because you're standing up for yourself, and it's this big dramatic. Like if you use the walking down the sidewalk example, dodging people is a nice thing to do, but you should also there should be a little give and take, if that makes sense. If somebody's barreling at you and they make eye contact and they don't dodge, I'm not saying you should play chicken with people on the sidewalk, it might not be a good example. But the example is if you're always the person that moves and you never hold your space. Do you know what I mean? There should be a balance, is what I'm trying to say. It's a bad example. I had this one example, like people pleasing, right? So like I used to work at a grocery store, and every now and again somebody would come along and they go, oh, can I go first? I'm in a hurry. Sometimes people would say yes. Sometimes people would say no. Yes. Right? Yes. And the thing is that both answers are right. I mean, and like I'm the cashier, so I'm just like observing.
Well, context, because what if you're the person that's saying yes, but you're saying yes despite the fact that you're already late to something yourself, but you feel like you need to say yes anyway. So you say yes even when you're putting your own needs way below somebody else's.
This was the example. This is exactly what happened the one day. Some little old lady with half a cart full of groceries walks up. There's a guy in front of her. He's only got like 2 or 3 things, and she goes, do you mind if I go first? Because she's barreling through the store at 100 miles an hour, but once she hits the cash register, she's suddenly a frail old lady, right?
Oh my God.
And he's like, I'm very sorry, I'm in a hurry. He wasn't rude. He wasn't impolite. He wasn't anything. And she's like, what, can't you let a little old... And she's freaking out on this guy. He's like, and this is about people pleasing. He's like, I'm very sorry, I'm in a hurry. That was the end of it.
He held his space because he also had a need.
She was pissed and tried to push her way in front. And I say, ma'am, and so like then I'm stuck in the middle of this, right? This guy was being completely within his rights. He was being respectful. He was being whatever. But he said, he was doing everything right. He was not in a position to stand behind somebody who was going to take 15 to 20 minutes of his time because she was, you could tell, and I've actually had her as a customer before, so I knew who she was, right? Because the reason why I remember this example is because she used to do this all the bloody time.
Christina, I do think that's true.
She would walk to the front of every line and expect to go first, and because she was a little old lady, most of the time they would let her. And she starts to try and push her way in front of him. Well, look, I'm in a hurry too. And basically I had to stand up and say, if you put your stuff on that belt, I'm going to walk away. I'm not taking, you need to go to the back of the line. And she starts, and
Peggy's good at standing up for herself and for other people.
But yeah, because I'm not going to treat somebody else like crap so that this woman can get something that she doesn't really, I don't want to say deserve, but
she wasn't in a position of need. She was in a position of entitlement.
Oh yeah, sometimes senior citizens play the victim, and I've seen that happen. Like
there's an interesting point here.
I plan on doing it in a few more years, but that's a whole different story.
Christina mentions maybe people pleasing leads to resentment. This is exactly true. So now, if you find this has happened to me. You accommodate because you feel like you should or you're supposed to or you just whatever. You accommodate, and then you're like feeling really fucked over at a certain point.
Exactly.
Because you're like you suddenly realize that your needs have been completely ignored for so long, but that's kind of your own responsibility because you haven't been speaking up for your needs.
Exactly what that's. I mean, you could see it on the that's why I picked this example. You could see it on this guy's face, like you could tell that he was the kind of person that normally would, but he wasn't in a good situation at the time. And she's walking up. She's got enough stuff that he knows it's going to be a while, and he's already. And it's like, he was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But the thing is that people pleasing, you don't just all of a sudden go storming into your boss's office and say, rah, 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 rah. That's a recipe for disaster. But you got to find small ways to start.
And Nikki says too,
and just get used to the idea that you don't have to say yes to everybody all the time in small ways.
And Nikki says it's really hard, both the no and the not having to explain. So it's like, if this is where baby steps kind of comes in. You might feel like you need to explain it first, and it might not go perfect, and that's fine. But if you need to explain in the beginning, you kind of meet yourself where you are, right? Maybe in the beginning you have to say no with an explanation, and over time you start to explain less and less until you feel more confident with your no's. So, I mean, it's not... Like Peggy said, it's not like you were teasing me about the bitch switch, but but in reality, most of our habits and things that we're working on are not switches that we flip on and off. There's like it's on a dimmer. It's on a dimmer. We're so in the same brain. Yeah, it's a dimmer. You slowly turn it up or you slowly turn it down, and sometimes you stutter and you accidentally turn it up again or you accidentally turn it down. Yeah, but
it's also about being aware. Once you're aware, once you start, and because even people who don't think that, now this is going to sound really, really weird, so bear with me. Even if you don't think you're a people pleaser, now that you're sitting here watching a video talking about that, it's a good exercise to go, are there areas in my life where I do that? And is it necessary, not so necessary? Like, we're all people pleasers to a certain degree on the job. We need the paycheck. Sure, we need the paycheck, and we need to get along with our coworkers. Of course, we're gonna. And
sometimes you get jerked to you on the phone, and you have to be nice anyway. So you actually don't get fired.
Yes, sir. Thank you for telling me I'm a fucking idiot, sir. This is great, sir. Awesome. I'm more like, click. I don't know what happened. The call just disconnected.
Peggy does not put up with crap. Let's just say.
No, there's times that I've had to.
No, I know that's true. That's very.
And that's so. Yeah, the job thing. And yeah, I mean, so
You're in my way.
everything's on a scale and everything has its circumstances. Even those of us who do not think of ourselves as people pleaser personalities find ourselves in situations where we just make the yeah, it's a little bit necessary that I be a people pleaser in this situation, even though I may not want to be.
Nikki says, someone was taking advantage of me last year in the old house, every time knocking on my door for the slightest thing when it was convenient to that person, made me even wait several times when I took the time to go over to their house to help them. So the last time the doorbell rang and it was, can you help me? I bought a new phone, etc., etc. I was like, no. The face they gave me. Yeah, because people who take advantage, they don't often respond well when you suddenly start having boundaries if you haven't before. This happened to a coworker of mine. His neighbors were constantly taking advantage of him. Constantly. Like, to the, and like, we're talking like the kind of advantage where it was actually really, really upsetting to him. And he could not bring himself to say no. And it got worse and worse and worse until he found himself super trapped by this situation where he was constantly, like, he just felt so screwed over. And he still was really struggling to stand up for himself.
Well, and now he's built this. His particular situation is a little different from what most of us face, because his particular situation has now got him so trapped that he can't get out of it without a big gesture.
Yeah.
Or without the people involved feeling like it's a big gesture.
Yeah.
But people pleasing, and again, it's on a scale. You have to start. You have to start small, get used to it, and work your way into it.
Betty Kisses has great advice. She says, I've learned that when people ask me something that I may have to go out of my way to do, I say, let me think about it and I'll get back to you. Then I'm not later saying, oh, why did I agree to that? That is amazing advice, because I'm very impulsive with saying yes right away. But saying, let me think about that is such a beautiful way to give yourself space to think about whether you want to say yes or no. I love that so much. That is so good. Tara Apple says, that's something I've had to work on, saying no to people. It used to be so hard for me. I think it was Matt bringing, I was taught to be the nice, polite girl, to be accommodating all the time. Yes, us too. I just totally included Jen in that. But yeah, we were totally raised the same way.
Well, of course, we're all raised with that, but we're not necessarily raised with the scale.
Ooh, Jen had to do this at work. She said she's had some really rude clients lately. The other day I stopped a meeting and flat out asked the client if she was displeased with something. She apologized and knocked it off. Good for you.
Yeah, that's something else. That's also a side benefit. Some of the people that are the worst offenders for asking us to go out of our way for them don't realize this is like the fluffy bunny version, but they might just be enjoying your time and your attention and doing things with you and not realize that they've crossed that line.
Yeah.
And that they are taking advantage, but they may not necessarily be aware how it's affecting you.
Yeah, but it kisses, we do learn something as we get older. It's true. And Nikki Sparkle says she has phases she goes through. So times I stay home and to myself a lot. Sometimes I'm more outgoing. But people relying on me when I don't feel good stresses me out so much at those times. I don't want to struggle with those feelings on top of the other stuff I deal with myself. Yeah, it's hard to just somehow... I've tried to get better about saying, like, I don't have a lot of energy this week. Like, with Peggy and I...
Yeah, people invite us to something. I'll be like, nope, my niece says no.
I
don't even explain it.
I preemptively said no to something that I'm committed to every other Tuesday this week, because I was like, I know I'm not up for it. I know I have other things I want to be focusing my energy on.
And you don't want to proceed. You don't want to spend your entire week wondering, am I going to have to cancel at the last minute because it turns out I'm still not up for it.
And normally what I would have done, and so this is like a success for me, because normally what I would have done is I would have waited to make sure that I really didn't feel good on that day. And I was like, wait, they can actually plan their lives if I tell them now. And I don't have to agonize for the next 4 days about whether I'm going to be up for it or not. I can just say, I'm not up for it. And so I literally just said, hi, I'm not up for this. I hope you understand. Period and stop. That's all I said. And everybody was really great about it. So that was my my version of succeeding. I just realized that was a really good example. Yeah, I'm pleased with myself now.
I don't think
is the opposite of people pleasing justification. I don't know if I understand that. What do you think? Justification is like...
I don't think there really is an opposite to people pleasing, because...
I think what they're saying... Okay, if I'm understanding correctly...
Maybe I'm not thinking
I think it's like if you think of it as a scale, justification is like, I don't want to bother helping you, so I'm going to give you all these excuses. Is that kind of what you mean by justification?
Well, I think the opposite of people pleasing is always being the person that always demands to be pleased.
That's true.
So that's kind of where... honestly, I mean, the thing is that some of the opinions that we're discussing here don't necessarily agree with what psychology and current science believes.
Ooh, Farah, I try to remember I don't need to set myself on fire to keep others warm.
Exactly.
That is such a good saying. And it's so true. It's
Peggy's head is like your worry stone.
It is! I love her. That's why I keep her head short. Wait, her hair short. That's why I keep her hair short. She doesn't. I don't let her grow it out too long because it's like velvet.
You're making it sound like you groom me like a puppy.
Is it incorrect?
Oh my god.
Is this untrue? I don't groom you like a puppy. I just request that you stay groomed like a puppy.
Keep the hair short. Don't grow it out. Oh my
this
god.
Is actually just slightly longer than the pure velvet stage.
Yeah. I've got like baby. My hair is like only one step away from being baby fine. So yeah, Lisa likes the way it feels.
It's really soft. It's so soft. So when it's really short, it's literally like crushed velvet.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But yeah. So people pleasing. I don't know that. You know what? People pleasing is a really hard one to find. Those.
Coffee.
Aw.
I can't have more because they said not to caffeinate before my float.
For a lot of things, not a lot of things. Like
over
you want to work on those issues. You want to work on your things in baby steps. But sometimes when it comes to people pleasing, sometimes even saying no to the mildest of things now another person is being directly impacted. So it can be really hard to find those times when it's better to just do what's right for you and not worry about what the other guy's thinking. But
so this kind of bleeds over into the third topic we've covered so far, which is standing up for yourself.
Oh yeah, standing up for yourself. Fuck 'em.
Standing up for myself this last week looked like, hey, honey, meet me downstairs because you're going to take me for a fruit smoothie and a poke bowl and possibly some chocolate. And she's like, I'll be downstairs in 5 minutes. That's how that went.
People pleasing.
I didn't explain. I didn't ask for forgiveness or permission. I was just like, this is what we're doing. Okay, maybe that's being bossy. I don't know that that's actually a good example.
That was being super bossy.
Terrible example.
Standing up for yourself. And
to me, it's like saying what you need without feeling like you need to justify. I did say what I needed. She could have said no, and I could have had the discussion.
Yeah, I worry about what others think. Strangers.
I know Jen's like, is that really standing up for yourself? Not really. No, it was a terrible example. I just really wanted to tell you the story.
Honestly, like
it's not a good example.
One good tip that I could give to anybody in regards to any of their issues. One of the biggest things that happens, and you guys can decide for yourself whether this is true. I start talking and I'm like, hey, blah, blah, blah. This is where I want. This is where I need. This is that. And you on the other end are getting more. You don't want to do it. You don't agree with it. You don't think it's a good idea. Nothing toxic. Nothing, whatever. Like, hey, I want to go to the mall and do a little shopping and then go to a movie and then maybe we can grab some dinner. And you're going, oh my God, I hate the mall. I'm broke. I don't want to see that movie, and I just want to stay tonight.
It's all too real.
Now, there's nothing toxic happening, right? But but I'm going, hey, blah blah blah. We could do this. We can do that. Oh, I'm all happy now. You want to please me. I'm suggesting things that you don't want to do, but you don't want to stand up for yourself because then you're not pleasing me. And so, okay, so basically, you're like moving further and further inward in your own thinking, going, I don't want. So now you're getting yourself all worked up right from the get-go. And you're not giving, you're taking in what I'm saying, you're quietly panicking on the inside, and then you're immediately coming back with something, and you are giving yourself no time to think or to consider. You're just like jumping straight into this fight or flight response.
She's saying this because this is what I do.
This is what Lisa does.
When I get overwhelmed.
But the thing is,
I jump right into like respond instead of pausing to think. And Nikki's specifically asking about, I worry too much about what others think.
Oh yeah, knowing you may not see the stranger later makes it way easier. But anyway.
So Nikki was saying, I worry too much about what others think. Strangers even so annoying. So tips on that are more than welcome. And Farah said, great question. I think it's difficult to just turn off that desire for other people to like you. And Simon mentioned that earlier. It's that's something that I think especially those of us with any kind of abandonment issues, which I certainly have, are like, you want people to like you. You want people to accept you. The more strongly I express that I want to do something, the quicker you are, even if you want to do it, but you don't want to do it the same way. Because now all of a sudden you're like, this fight or flight, I must either do exactly what she wants. Is that related to Nikki's question about how to get around what people like? No. She was talking about people wanting to like her. Wanting people to like her, and even strangers.
I was responding to what was going on before. The thing is,
I'm sorry, I'm not following. Go ahead.
You derailed. You're a horrible human being.
Nikki asked a question. Yeah. Tips on just trying to get around the fact that you want people to like you and letting that drive your behavior.
Yes. Sorry. Okay,
awesome.
So basically, you've got this quiet little panic. A lot of people have got this quiet thing going on, and they're like, oh my god, you're overwhelming. I'm making it sound like a far more dramatic thing, but what you're not doing is you're not going, give me a minute to think about that.
Yes, that's related to what you were saying, but not related to what Nikki was saying.
No, it is related to what
Oh.
Nikki is saying. It's
Okay.
completely related. One of the things that we do is we are so, this is what the other person wants, and we are so driven to find a way to make them happy that we're not making ourselves happy, so then we're not giving ourselves the time or the space to think about any of it.
Mm-hmm.
We are instant reacting. Like we are like, blah, 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 this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. Yeah, sure, okay.
But give us some tips on how to not be obsessed about people liking you, because that's what we're trying to talk about. How do you not let that be at the forefront? Because I struggle with that too.
Well, but this is the thing. The number one thing is to give yourself a bit of a break. It's like, well, let me, give me a minute to think about that, because, no, you don't give you jump straight to this, the generic you, jump straight to this automatic need to be responding in a way that makes the other person feel better, to the point where we're not giving ourselves even the time to think about what we want or what we need or what makes sense. So we don't say, let me think about that. It sounds like a lot. Is there any way we can scale this down? Because I don't think I'm up for all this.
But let's take it away from all of that. That whole thing about people inviting you to do stuff, because that's.
But I'm using.
I know, but let's use a different example, because I'm not following that.
I
follow the example with what you're saying, but separately, as a separate topic, just generally dealing with, not when you're not when somebody's asking you to do something necessarily, but just generally moving through your life, feeling so concerned about other people liking you, like in a general way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you're so basically, okay, people liking you in a general way. For starters, fuck them. There's 7 billion people on this earth. Not everybody's going to like you.
Fuck them.
Not everybody's going to like you. There are people that are going to take one look at you without speaking a word to you ever and are going to hate you on sight.
Yeah, Jen says the thing I try hard to remember, but I really have to work at, is that if someone doesn't like me or doesn't want to be around me, they're not supposed to be in my life, which makes room for the people that are supposed to be in my life. And I think that's a really good point. It's like, this is kind of what we're trying to talk about, is like, from a, not a situational thing, but just like a moving through the world thing.
But there's two things at play here, because there's a situational thing of always wanting to please people and never giving yourself the right to say no. And then there's the realization that you're not going to resonate with everybody. There are going to be people in your life that it's like, oh, well, I work with this person, that's fine, but I don't have to be their friend. I don't have to.
But some of us struggle, and I think you're having a hard time relating to this one, because I don't think this happens for you as much. But some of us, and I know I have struggled with this, we overthink even strangers liking us. Like, I don't want to displease this person, even though I don't even know them.
Yes.
Like, but so it's like random cashier at the grocery store. Like, I worry too. Like, remember when I didn't like you to tease me in front of the cashier?
Yeah.
Like that. Like, why do I care what the cashier thinks about me? Why do I care if maybe they don't realize you're teasing me?
Well, because there's two things at play. It's like, the person that you're dealing with, it's kind of, like I said, there's so many things at play. Yeah. Like, the thing is that nobody wants to be lonely. Nobody wants to be alone. Nobody wants to be lonely.
That's part of it. Is that we're scared that we won't find people.
Now, I'm the personality that says I would rather be alone. I would rather be alone and a little lonely than surrounded by toxic people who are really bad for me, because that's even.
I started to get to that place too.
That is even being immersed in a toxic soup of dysfunction is far worse than being alone and lonely. Because if I'm alone and lonely, I can join a club, I can join a group, I can go out and
you can go live on YouTube.
I can put myself out there and make new friends.
That's very true.
But I'm not okay.
Hi, Lunar Seedling.
You're not going to make new friends if the only people in your life are toxic, because the only other people that are going to be drawn into that is other toxic people.
That's also why, for a long time, I had a circle of friends, almost all of whom I had no boundaries with.
Yeah, I'd rather be happy in
and
solitude.
almost all of whom I was really people-pleasing with, because I found myself surrounded by semi-toxic people, because I never stood up for myself, and because I didn't have many boundaries, and I said yes to everything, those were the people I attracted. Whereas when I started actually having boundaries and being more confident, I found that I started attracting a new caliber, I don't know how else to say it, of people in my life who respected and admired that I could have boundaries. And therefore, I had less toxic people in my life. It was like this really cool chain effect.
But what happens? The minute you say the minute you say this particular thing is no longer welcome in my life, then you kind of find out that like attracts like. So you're surrounded by all these toxic people. Nobody else is going to join that group, that tribe, unless they are also resonating with
all of that energy.
And they're resonating with toxicity.
Yes.
So you find this big bleed off, and all of these people who you thought were your friends aren't your friends anymore.
Simon, yes. What about when you have a desire to help people? I find this often leads to meeting more toxic people. They seem to find you. I have something to say about this real quick. I grew up in like really dysfunctional. Jen with me. We have the dysfunctional lottery. We've won the dysfunctional lottery. What was I trying to say?
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
so the thing is, we learn to be codependent, and when you're codependent, you start to find value in yourself by what you do to help or heal other people. You feel like I can actually save people. Like Jen just said, the desire to save people. I can be the person that shows this person what a good friend really is. I can show this person what a good girlfriend really is or a good boyfriend really is. I'll be the one to show them what love can be. That is a not great place to start any connection. But the desire is there because we learn to value ourselves for what we do for other people rather than what we bring to the table ourselves. That was such a hard journey for me. And so I attracted people to my life that needed fixing, which was really problematic. That was how I ended up in the most abusive relationship I was ever in, was because I was like, I'm going to prove to this person that, because they were constantly a victim, I'm going to be the one that proves to this person that their partner won't hurt them. And so they hurt me. I totally lost out.
See, I'm a big proponent.
Yes, Jen, I thought if I just love him enough. Yes, oh my God.
See, I'm a big proponent of, because I'm actually somebody who really likes to help people, but there's give a man a fish, there's teach a man to fish, and I'm of the teach a man to fish school.
But you don't come at it from a codependent place. Your upbringing didn't teach you to be codependent, whereas we were taught if we just say the right, this is so prevalent for us this week, of course, but you just say the right thing, if you get through to them just right, you can fix them. And I think the greatest lesson we have to learn on this earth is that we are only responsible and can only affect change directly on ourselves. Period, end, stop. There is no special circumstance. You might inspire somebody, maybe, but you cannot control what other people choose. You can't control what they do. You can't.
Yeah. Well, you can't. I mean, the thing is, but there are like Simon said, wants to help people, and that is something that a lot of us want to do. Lisa's gonna start crying if she goes over here for a minute. You cannot help other people if you're helping them from a place of your personal weakness.
Use your shirt.
Okay. If you're helping,
we got this.
If you're helping people from a place of your own weakness, then you're not really helping them. You are inviting them.
Sometimes you're enabling them.
You're enabling them.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Yes.
Sometimes.
And again, every single aspect of this is a spectrum. And you could literally have hours and hours of talk on each different stage of the spectrum. But you can still be out there to help. You can be out there to help people in ways. You can be out there to help people and be aware that you're helping and be aware that you want to help. Where's the TP?
I'm good.
Yeah, I don't need them to hurt my... Here's the thing. You don't want to go around, I'm going to reject all you people, because it's like, I'm going to be the best person I can be. And if that is not something that works for you, it's not like kicking somebody to the curb.
Yes, we are sisters. Yes. Jen's my big sis.
But here's the thing. You don't need to have this major purge and kick people to the curb. What you have to do is you have to say, this is who I am. If you don't like it, if it is that big of a problem for you, you're welcome to see yourself out. I can't stop you, and you have to give yourself permission to not stop them.
It is hard. It is hard because we always want our love to be enough. Like, we always want our goodness or
But it is.
our heart-centeredness. No, I know. We always want it to be enough to dramatically affect change in other people. And it's a very difficult thing to accept that it doesn't matter how right you are. It doesn't matter how good you are at it. You can't. You can only clean your side of the street.
But it is it is enough, and it does help other people when it's the right person.
That's very true. Yeah,
And that's the thing to
but
remember.
it's hard for people to know where is that line? Like, how do you
it's
know?
Impossible. It's impossible to
can't.
know until you're in it, because it's always an act of faith and it's always an act of trust.
Simon is spot on. Spot on. It's like, I don't mean to, but I feel like subconsciously they come and abuse me. Then when they do, it's so painful. Then I go back to hermit mode until the next time.
Exactly.
It is a difficult pattern to break. For me, it didn't break until I brought in somebody into my... Not you.
I'm specialer.
You are specialer, but it was before you, when I was completely traumatized by a partner who was viciously bad for me. When I ended up in that situation, it was the mirror to, oh my God, like, this is what happens if you take on somebody who you recognize. This is the difference. You recognize somebody as toxic. You recognize that they're not being self-aware, and you hope that you can make them self-aware. There's a difference. If you meet somebody who is working on themselves, who is trying, you can absolutely have an effect on that person. But when you meet somebody who can't even admit to themselves that they've got problems, that's where it gets muddy.
Yeah, but like I said, the thing is, though, is that that's because it's the wrong person.
I know, and I need to remember that it's not that we're not bringing something worthy to the table. It's that not everybody is worthy of our help.
Okay.
How I said that.
Do you know the analogy? Okay,
Can you please fix what I just said, because I've said it bad. I said the other person wasn't worthy. That's not what I mean.
That's not it.
Translate.
I was just gonna.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that most of us are familiar with the analogy of we're all climbing the same mountain. But some of us are walking faster than others, and some of us are walking slower than others.
Yes.
Now, you don't have, and this is something else too, is if somebody turns out to be, if they're all, we're all walking up the same mountain, but we're not only are we not all at the same place in the mountain, we're not all on the same path. The mountain is the circle.
I think it's a labyrinth. So some of us, we might think we're walking right next to somebody, but
stop. You asked me to, this is my example. You can do your own later. I just elbowed your boobs.
Elbowed me in the boob. Anyways, moving on.
Is it everything is super interconnected. So there's this. We're all learning different things at different times. We're all at different places. We've all gone through, and this is a hard one. We have all gone through places and times and situations, even if it was only for a short period of time, where we were the toxic person in somebody else's life.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a teacher that we disliked, and so we were always a shit in that teacher's class. Even though, we...
This is not making me feel better. You need to get to the point.
But that...
Make me feel better!
It's convoluted. It's very convoluted. But so, if this person is at a stage, and some people outgrow these stages of their life, some people don't. Some people are just toxic, and whatever it is they were on this earth to learn, they've clearly not learned it, and they're not going to learn it. So we're all going up the same mountain, but we're not all at the same height in the mountain. We're not all necessarily at the same path or at the same junctures in the road.
It wasn't that much of a process.
It was a bit of a process.
We're back. Sorry, guys. It is very raw. It's really tough.
It's very raw to discuss it, because we all come at it from different places.
Jen says, do you think it's easier to see the signs of a toxic person coming as we learn from each experience so we can avoid repeating these relationships? Yes. I think as you have experiences, you can...
Once you start recognizing the patterns of what's coming into your life, you can start seeing it from a distance. Like, it's like if you're always attracted to the same personality. I don't know. It's hard to describe, because there's different kinds of relationships, but
I think basically it's about listening to this is what we were talking about a little bit when we got into the inner critic. There is the inner voice that tells you when something's not right. There's often, we have that gut instinct. We notice those red flags. It's when we try to push past the red flags and go, this time will be different, that I think we get ourselves into trouble.
Because we're not trying, because we're not trying to fix what is, it's very difficult to recognize fixing what's within you that attracts these toxic people to you versus fixing a toxic person.
Yes, that is such a good point. And
so
Christina made that point too. Until we face our issues, we repeat toxic patterns.
Yeah.
If our toxic pattern is that we need to feel worthy by working on somebody else, and that can be something that I've experienced many times, it's like if you're in that place, then you're going to continue to attract those people so that you can feel worthy. It's like this kind of snake eating its own tail, I guess. It's like a pattern. Yeah. Whereas if you can start to work on your worth and realize that what you have to offer somebody isn't just your ability to show them a new way, to heal them, to help them, to save them. If you can start to recognize that I'm worthy in this relationship, friendship, etc., exactly as I am, suddenly you feel less of a need to attract those people that need saving. That was a long-winded way to say the same thing you said.
Yes,
but
yes. I said
it
it.
makes
I
me
said
feel
it.
like
I
I'm
said
contributing.
it. She's explaining. Yeah, like Nikki said.
Yes, Jen, I'm worthy. I am lovable.
And like Nikki said, slowly but surely. Like, okay, when I was a single mom for when I left my ex, the kids were 4 and 5, and I didn't meet Lisa. I keep saying 10 years, but I guess it wasn't 10 years. But I was single for that whole time. Dated a little bit here and there. Didn't take anybody seriously. And I lived in a small town. So the only other like-minded people, like, I just lived in a small town. So I did most of my socializing online. It was lonely and it was isolating. But it was also really, really good for me. And there's always, okay, just look at this, look at those of us that are having this chat right here, right now. There's always, thanks to the internet is the most amazing thing that ever happened, because there is always a like-minded community to reach out to for help, support, feedback, personal growth, for all of the things that we need to feel like a healthy and whole person. What's she doing?
Getting more, I don't know, water or something.
She's getting water or something.
And I'm getting
so, yeah, write down your affirmations and put them up in every room. I made Lisa do that. I made her write down affirmations and put them all over the one wall when she was going through a thing the one time, like way back. Sticky notes everywhere.
All over the wall.
But what did Farrah say? Yeah, when somebody when somebody's trying to pressure you into doing something, I mean, this is just about you have to recognizing your self-worth. So if you're like, no, I'm not really interested in doing that, and sometimes people are trying to pressure you because they're really excited about something and they think they're doing you a favor and they're doing whatever. And this is about just, and again, back to the example that I was very awkwardly trying to give earlier. When something's happening that you feel like you have to have an immediate response, you have to give yourself the power to say, I need to think about that. Because when you give yourself that space, it gives the other person an opportunity to settle down, calm down, slow down. It gives you an opportunity to think through what you're going to say. There's never anything wrong with saying no to somebody, ever. Oh, yeah. Oh, come on, don't be so uptight. I'll tell you right now, the minute somebody tells me that, you can almost be guaranteed I'm not going to do it.
It's also like waiting.
It's like somebody's calling you uptight. It's like you're calling me names in order to get me to do something. It's like, I get it. I get it if somebody's joking. I don't know how to say this. Oh, let's go for a coffee. Oh, no, I've got all this stuff to do. Oh, come on, don't be so uptight. I'll help you with the housework when we get back. That's one kind of cajoling. And then there's the other kind of cajoling where it's like, dude, you're not respecting the fact that I've just said no, and you need to respect that. So I totally get that, because again, it's on a scale. Are you coming back?
Yeah.
She's over there just standing there watching me.
I'm sorry.
But honestly, if people are like, do the thing, and you're like, no, I don't really want to. What's the big deal? I don't want to. Don't, because when people are cajoling you and doing stuff like that, they're trying to change your mind, and it's like, I don't know, it's hard to describe, because some of those people, and this is the brutal reality, some of those people, the minute you stand up to them, will stop being your friends. They will stop being in your life. And that's hard and it hurts. But these are also people who were at some point or another were going to exit your life anyway. Because people like that, you can never make happy enough. So I don't know how that does or doesn't affect your willingness to stand up to certain people. Like if you have a parent that's like this, you're going to have to find a different tactic. You're going to have to find a tactic that works with that particular person. But if you have this best friend that is constantly pushing you into crap that you don't want to do, sooner or later you're going to be in a position where you have to say no, where you have no choice, where the choice is taken away from you, and they're going to go, well, fuck you. And it's better to find out if they're that kind of friend early on. That's my opinion. But then again, like I said, if you say, well, because I said no and please don't pressure me, if they're your friend, they're going to back up and they're going to go, fine, I really want to do that. Oh, I really wanted us to do this together, but that's okay, I'll figure it out. If they don't, I've had friends that don't respect the word no. They're not my friends anymore. I've had friends that don't respect the word no, and they are not my friends anymore over things that I said no because I had no choice.
I need toast.
Whoa! Hi, puppy.
All right, key
Drop
lamp.
the lamp on your dog.
All right, key lamp just about took a dive. I'm sorry,
What
guys.
did you
I
say?
had to grab stuff.
Okay, well, last week a gentleman was here dropping a desk off. I knew him briefly. He was making sexual remarks, not once but 4 times. I felt so uncomfortable. If it was a stranger, he would hear it. But since I sort of know this person, it felt so weird. But even in the company of an elderly lady friend, he kept saying, "Oh, you just need a good orgasm." And I was like,
Wow.
"Nope, that's not it."
That is a problem.
Yeah, see, that's a problem.
That's a sit him down and explain that behavior is not okay kind of a problem.
There are people that find
I'm
that
on camera, and I'm so sorry, you guys. But
there are people that find that there are people that find that kind of humor funny. There are people that find that kind of humor incredibly offensive, and anybody who doesn't know the difference has no fucking business making those kind of jokes. Because now this is gonna be this is the twisted reality. I've made those kind of jokes. I have. 2 people like you, my wife, I'm married to her.
you kind of have to know your audience.
I've made just ask Jen. Jen knows. Now.
Oh, Jen, yeah.
Now I've never made a joke like that to Jen, because that is so fucking not appropriate to say shit like that to my wife's sister. I have made suggested jokes about, well, Jen, maybe if you meet a nice guy, you'll be in a better mood. Because I'm not. I don't.
Have you actually though? I don't think you've even gone that far.
I've made generically suggestive jokes to Jen. Occasionally. I wouldn't. Okay, I'm like this. I know that I. But
so you're saying you're like this.
I know that I have. I know that I have. But I also know that I've never said anything overtly rude or ignorant.
You also.
I know when to stop.
This is the thing. Somebody recently told me, and this is so true. You have to teach people how to treat you. And the example she gave...
That's exactly it. I would never... Okay,
yeah,
when I first met you, Jen, I would have never made a joke like that.
Yeah,
I would have never made a sexually suggestive comment or reference to people that I don't know very well.
This is a good example somebody gave, though, that I want to share. It's got seeds. The example is... the example... I should have made one for you, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
The example is that each of us have our own user manual. And I thought this was actually a really interesting analogy. Each of us have our own user manual. So we have to, not everybody has access to our user manual. They don't know the specific buttons they're going to push that are going to offend us. They don't know this, they don't know that. This is why it's important to stand up for yourself. Because it's not about shaming somebody else for how they've treated you. It's about teaching them what's in your user manual. Like, hey, you probably didn't know that XYZ bothers me. Like with me with the cashier thing. You don't necessarily know this bothers me.
Okay.
So FYI, this bothers me is information you're sharing with people you care about so they know how to treat you. So that they know how you want to be treated.
Well, that's okay, Nikki.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that
does that make sense though about the user manual?
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Kind of. But like, okay, online. Okay, we joke around about slags.
Hi, Keith.
Okay, hi Keith. We joke around about slags and sluts online, because nobody's gonna reach through this camera and grab my boob. We know when and where it's funny. We know when and where it's not funny, and we know the difference. Like I said, like me making a comment to Jennifer because she's your sister and she knows me, and even then I won't. If there are certain types of content where if you're going to make a sexually suggestive comment, you need to have a sense of when and where, even if you're just making a joke. It's like and it's true. It's like, oh, okay, I appreciate to you that this is just a joke, but that's offensive and it needs to stop.
But Nikki, the thing is, it
Period.
doesn't matter if he's close enough to be a friend or a stranger or an acquaintance or anything in between. He was in your home. I would say if you ever are going to be seeing this person again, then you owe it to yourself. This is my opinion, and obviously you have to decide what's right for you. But I think you owe it to yourself to have the conversation, even if it's just in writing, even just to say, this really upset me. This is how this made me feel. I need you, I'm asking you not to do that ever again. And I think that is a fair thing to do. We might not agree, but I think that's a fair thing to do.
See, the thing is that I find that I find that personally, when you take the time to explain something to somebody, they don't take you as seriously.
But that's not what I said. Tell them how you feel and tell them that the behavior is unacceptable. That's not explaining. That's, this made me feel this way, please don't do it again, is exactly how you should stand up for yourself. I feel really strongly about that.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. You have to be able to express yourself in a way that makes sense to you,
Mm-hmm.
and the other person has to have the respect to go, okay. Even if they don't understand, they can say, okay, well, I didn't mean this, I didn't mean that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the kind of person that would just go, yeah, that ain't funny.
Yeah.
Oh, but I think it's really funny. It's like, yeah,
But sometimes
like
people
I won't.
But people like me will tell ourselves that since we didn't speak up in the moment, we now can't, and that is not true. And that's something I kind of want to get across. Just because you don't say something in the moment, you might act like everything's fine in the moment because that's what you need to do to get through that moment. It doesn't somehow mean that you're not allowed to say something later, and I think sometimes that's tricky.
Okay, let's put it this way. Let's use my cashiering as an example. Back when I was cashiering, if I had a customer come through that made a rude remark, that made a suggestive remark, I'd just like look at them, and then just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't acknowledge it. I wouldn't, and they would either, and if they kept going, it's like, whatever, I'm not going to see you again, and there's cameras, I'm safe, you're fine, go away.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just ignore it, because that's the people-pleasing aspect that gets you through your day. But if I had a regular customer coming in,
that you were going to see again,
it's like
that's
dude,
the difference.
Yeah,
and then somebody you're going to see again.
It's like, dude, you're a regular, you know I don't like that shit.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it.
Yeah.
I don't need to educate them. I just need to tell them what my boundary is, and that's it.
No, that's true. That's
it's their job to educate themselves.
I think if it's a friend or somebody you have a relationship with, whether it's professional or personal, if it's somebody you have a relationship with, I think it's appropriate to say, this upset me, this made me feel X, and I need you to stop. If it's somebody you don't know, all you owe that person...
You don't even owe them.
No, you don't owe them anything, but all you owe yourself is don't do this again. If there's somebody you have a relationship with, I think it's important to say, this made me feel X, please don't do this again. That's it. You don't have to, but I think it's appropriate. Sorry.
Have to what? You don't even owe them an explanation of how it makes you feel. Hey, this was not appropriate. Don't do it again. Why? Because I don't like that shit. Done. There are certain things in life where you don't owe anybody if you choose to explain, that is your right and your privilege to explain.
Yeah.
It is not your obligation. Ever.
No. But the video I made about it was basically, it's not your obligation, but it's not your obligation, and I guess it's more like a strategy for the way to have the best chance of the other person not getting defensive.
Anybody who said, "Oh, I'm psychic and you need an orgasm," okay, I'm sorry, that person's not coming back in my life. That person, I'm done with that person. But that's my preference. That's like
what I covered in the video was basically, if you want the best chance of the person in your life not being defensive, if you start with an I feel statement, and this is just documented, provable stuff. If you start with an I feel statement, they're more likely to hear you than if you just start with you did a thing I don't like, stop it. It can make the conversation go better if you start with I feel blah, please don't do blah. Is a much better way to approach it if you want the other person to be receptive. If you don't give a shit if they're receptive, say it however the hell you need to say it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, if I'm talking to you and I'm saying, hey, if I'm talking to you, I'll say, yeah, honey, that made me feel a little whatever. I prefer absolutely.
Yeah.
But if somebody's saying, oh, you need an orgasm, I'm going to go, wow, that's not okay. Don't do that again.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't owe you, oh, why? Because I don't owe you a fucking explanation, and you have no business talking to me like that. Period.
Yeah. We need to worry less about other people being offended when they're people we don't give a crap about.
Sometimes.
I know that sounds rough, but like that's true. Because that's what Nikki said. She's like, even if someone feels offended. Yeah, if it's somebody who you are not invested in, you do not have to care about what they're going to feel or think. Or if it's somebody that oversteps a boundary in such a blatant way, you don't have to care about what they feel or think. If it's like this is a hard limit, don't ever treat me this way again, don't be afraid to say that.
If somebody who is not normally in my house is in my house making comments like that, I'm going to lose my shit. It's like, excuse me, you need to get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would not be okay with that. And even if I was in a situation where I needed to tolerate it, I'd be like, yeah, that's not okay. Oh, why? I was just making a joke. Yeah, I'm not laughing.
This was the point I was making earlier. Jen says, sometimes I'm stunned in the moment, then I rerun the conversation in my head.
Oh, that's so normal. Everybody.
But
it's like, oh, I should have said this. I should have done that. We do it every fucking time.
But sometimes we do that and we don't realize we can still speak up after the fact. We can actually act like it's totally okay in the moment. That doesn't mean we can't say something later. That's something I have to work on really consciously. Is like, sometimes I even laugh. Like, maybe if somebody's really offended me and because I'm nervous or I'm caught off guard, I roll with it. I laugh. As far as they're concerned, I was totally okay with it. That doesn't mean that later I can't say, hey, this actually really, really bothered me. That doesn't mean I can't say that later just because I acted like I was fine with it in the moment.
But you know what? The better way to approach that is to say, instead of say, that really, really bothered me, because their first reaction, then why did you laugh? The best way to express it to somebody is after the fact. I realized that was really inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have laughed. Done. Because then you're not confusing anybody. Then you're like.
But even if you realized during, because this has happened to me, I've been in a really horrible situation, and just to get through the moment, I rolled with it. I've laughed. I've done whatever, and so I think it's not that I realized it after the fact. It's that I realized it during and didn't know how to handle it.
But that is a different conversation that you don't owe them. So this is where this.
Oh yeah, I guess
this is where the best way to express yourself. You can't blame them. You cannot reach back and blame them for something that. As it was happening, I realized it was wrong, but I laughed anyway. That's very confusing. You don't owe them that. You don't owe them your personal thought process as to how you. You don't owe them your personal journey as to what made you decide to speak up.
That's a really, really good point. And sometimes I think I do, or that I have to explain the entire process.
We always feel like we must explain ourselves. We must justify why we have decided to speak up. We must justify why we were upset. We must justify why we didn't do or say the right things at the time. The only thing that we owe them is to say, upon thinking about it, I realized that this was wrong, and you shouldn't have said this, and I shouldn't have laughed. And you're done. You don't need to apologize for your response. You need to address the fact that because
I know you're right. It's hard to not feel like you need to explain yourself.
Over-explainer. And that's that.
Yes, Jen, yes, right here.
That is one of the biggest traps that people put themselves into, because you're going through a process of self-discovery. You get different personalities in different situations. The thing is that we feel like our personal revelations are a teaching moment for other people, and they're not. Our personal revelation. True. You need to lay down your boundaries. It's like, yeah, I know I laughed when it happened, but upon reflection, this shouldn't have happened. You need to not do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is.
I feel like when I'm, especially if I'm standing up for myself, I often feel like I have to justify it, explain it, and I have to take the other person along the entire journey with me when really that causes more troubles and more miscommunications than if I just say I don't like this.
If they're open for the communication in an honestly curious, wanting to learn kind of way, then you move on to the explanations, the discussion, the whatever. Maybe.
And Grunewald says in closing the loop, justification is sort of the opposite to people pleasing.
Yes, it is. Because it's like.
So I guess it is.
You want because if you explain it to this person in enough detail, they will be happy.
But that doesn't make it the opposite of people pleasing. That makes it people pleasing.
It's the opposite. But
one is being accommodating and one.
When you're standing up for yourself, you want them to be happy about it.
Yes, that's true.
And that
I do. I want everybody to be like, yeah,
if this person does it again, you just need to say, it wasn't funny last time. It's not funny now. You need to stop. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them an apology. You don't owe them anything, and you don't owe them the argument. You don't owe them the conversation. If they are a kind, caring person who wants to have the conversation, that's fine. But otherwise, you just go to, no, it's not okay. It's not funny. It's not okay. It's not funny, and that's done.
Oops. Yeah, I think it's just tough because for those of us that find it hard to stand up for ourselves in the first place, just standing up for ourselves is like...
I don't think it's that it's hard to stand up for yourselves because, and like the generalized view, it's hard to stand up for yourself when you don't know how to do it in a healthy way.
Yes. Like for a while, I could only stand up for myself if I was so angry I was shaking. And at which point, there's no way I'm being healthy. I'm being toxic in that time because I'm coming from a place of like high emotions, anger, and then I'm just lashing out. I'm not actually standing up for myself. And there's totally a difference that I had to learn, and I still don't always do that well.
You're fine.
But I don't though. Like it's a process. It's a process.
Yeah, Nikki badass. No, it's.
Oh, puppy stretch over there is so cute.
But again, I mean, from the perspective of the journey, start with the small steps, and you're gonna go, oh, I said no to that guy today, but I can't say no about this, and it's like because that's a much bigger thing, that you're still building the tools to be able to deal with it, and you may find yourself, And of course, the opposite side of that is you do become more and more aware of the ways in which you're behaving this way.
Nikki, what you're describing when you're talking about like flipping over into your evil twin, what you're basically describing is waiting until you get so angry that you lash out. And to me, that's not the healthy way to handle it. It's like before you get to that point, you should be speaking up for yourself. That's my opinion. Like, definitely stand up for yourself before you get to the point where you have to fight.
Yeah. Lisa used to be really bad for that. She was like,
fine, rage.
And all of a sudden she's like rage monstering all over me, and I'm like, what the hell just happened?
It was like bad Lisa 2x4 upside the face. It was not good.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like you want to speak up so that you don't ever have to get to that point where you're just lashing out and being angry and not being the person you want to be. If you want to be the person you want to be, then you want to try to own where you're at the whole way through and speak up when you need to speak up so that you never get yourself into that. They call it like a the fight or flight response.
Oh, stressing internally. Oh, that's like, and let me I know that I come across as somebody who's really self-confident, fuck 'em, and I still stress internally about things. Don't worry, it's not on the camera.
It was crumbs. It's fine. I don't care. I don't care about
Bruno.
He's already licked my plate, which had nothing on it. But
we all stress. Everybody stresses internally about things, and it's just a matter of turning that stress into a constructive. It's like, okay, I'm really stressing at this. Okay, you're really stressing at this thing happening. You're not sure what to do if it happens again. So instead of stressing about, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because we start cycling.
Just meet it head on and be like, this is not okay. Yeah, exactly, New Age newbie. You want to stand up for yourself and don't want to be an asshole. The way to not be an asshole is to stand up for yourself when you're in a calm place and you've already realized, like right now, Nikki, you're in the place right this second where you already know that you're upset by this behavior, you don't like it, you don't want it to continue. Now is the time when you're calm and you're thinking about it and you're being mindful. That's the time to say something. Not to say something the next time you get worked up, the next time he offends you. Because I used to do that. I used to wait. I used to be like, I'll be fine. But the next time it happens, I'm going to say something. And then I'm saying something in a reactionary way and not in a conscientious way.
You're saying it's like, I caught you, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm justified. Now I have a reason. Now,
yes, you're waiting for like that validation that it's okay to say something because...
And the trap is on you.
Yes.
You're the one who's falling into the trap because... Now you've got this so spun up that you're only able to respond according to the script that you've built in your own head.
The best way to stand up for yourself without being an asshole is to stand up for yourself when you've thought about it and you've considered how you feel and you're ready to say something thoughtfully and not in a reactionary way. And anytime you're reacting, you're not going to be your best self. Period. Like,
should be apping this dude dimension.
No, I think, I would basically not invite this person over to your home until you've had a conversation or make sure that he's not welcome until you've had a conversation. If there's an opportunity for him to be in your home or to be in your space again where you have that ability to say yes or no kind of thing, then have the conversation before okay, I'm fine with you coming over, but you need to know that last time you did this thing that bothered me. Just basically don't put yourself in that position again until you've had the conversation would be my advice.
Yeah.
But, Just, exactly. Clear the air, point it out. I don't know if you need to app him. I don't know if that's great. But, if he reaches out again or the next time there's an I don't know what the context is and you don't have to tell us. But basically, before you commit to being in space again with him, in the same space.
Yeah, if he reaches out again and says, oh, blah, 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 hey, I need to come over and do blah, you can just say, well, not until you understand that those sex jokes are not okay and you're not doing it again.
Yeah, exactly. What Peggy said.
Like I said, if a
cute puppy bomb. Yeah, Bruno,
Hi, baby.
He
likes to shove himself in my armpit and then lean backwards like this so that I have to. Yeah, he doesn't care if it hurts me either.
Okay.
Hi, baby.
But yeah. So the only topic we haven't recapped now is inner critic. So how are we all doing with our inner critic? I'm curious. My stuff's all haywire this week, so I have no sage advice. Yep, exactly. Yep.
Hi, puppy.
Nikki, that's exactly right.
How you doing?
Inner critic is the ways that we negative self-talk. I got it. Yeah, New Age newbie, a lot of us are still assholes to ourselves. Hi, Pepper Jackie.
We all are over something. Yeah.
Come here.
Hi, puppy.
Come here. Come here. You can do it. Oh, there you go. Here's the other puppy. She's just
outside of the camera.
Aww. She just climbed into a lap. Aw, you're welcome, Nikki.
I'm covered in puppies now.
Your inner critic is loud lately, Farah? Yeah, no one is harder on ourselves than ourselves. I totally relate.
This is an
It's
interesting.
okay, Nikki. That's what we're here for.
This is an interesting point
We
to
just
make.
like to have the space for discussion.
This is an interesting point to make. And one thing that happens, and this is like my fucking God, why is fixing one problem? One of the things that happens is as you begin the active process of sorting out your thoughts, your feelings, and emotions. Yeah, why are you awesome? We're all awesome.
Yes, that was such a good thing.
But one of the things that happens is everything's imbalanced, and I'm not really sure how to express this.
She doesn't understand why you're not petting her. So
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me get you.
She's like, why aren't you petting me? You're talking with your hands and not petting me.
She's literally sitting up, leaning back against me so that I can reach her chest and her tummy to pet her.
Jen says she's been trying to make a note of writing down the things that she's done well at the end of the day. That is so good.
That's actually a really good journaling exercise. Instead of focusing on what went right today, what little teeny tiny, almost insignificant thing went right like I took a split second to sort myself out before responding, reacting, acting.
I posted in the Facebook group that I was proud of myself this week for not going ham with the crazy shopping therapy and buying like 20 decks, because that could have happened. It really could have. This was an interesting week for that. I mean, that might happen next week because Tarot Symposium. But I mean, I'm just saying.
The inner critic. One of the things about the inner critic is that as you start to become aware of other things in your life, your self-worth, your self-sabotage, as you start to become aware of stuff like that, you start to become more and more aware of the things that you are doing wrong, because you need to learn to do them differently.
Look at her. She's like, Shayla's like, she's like,
You coming up?
come here. She's not gonna. She's like laying
Anyway,
down. She's shy. Puppy.
So it's like you people pleasing. So you're working on people pleasing, and now suddenly you're working on not being such a people pleaser and sorting out when and where it's appropriate, when and where it's toxic. And suddenly, your inner critic is screaming, "See, you're a fucking idiot. You could have fixed this all along, but you didn't."
That's
so
awesome. I haven't seen that one.
The unfortunate side effect of fixing some problems brings other problems to the surface, or makes other problems more obvious, and your inner critic has a fucking heyday with that shit. So the inner critic, I mean, maybe that's something you should have saved for near the end. I don't know, but the inner critic is the one that reminds you that you've been doing it bad. Well, you've been doing it you're doing it so bad until now. And the inner critic is like probably the single most difficult thing to deal with. But I don't know how else to express it. That's just kind of my and again, this is like our perspective. This is not professional counseling advice.
Yeah.
But
And New Age Newbie said, she started the YouTube channel despite her inner critic saying not to. I think that was a brilliant success. And I think your first video on your channel, by the way, is fantastic. I think you've told your story. You haven't yet. I'll link it for you. Okay. But you haven't, you told your story in this really eloquent way. And I really appreciated hearing you be so kind of brave and honest about where you were coming from and sharing that. I think that that's really powerful stuff. And we need more of that in places like YouTube, where we're being vulnerable and we're being... I think that's really good stuff. And
that's something else.
So yeah, everybody go subscribe to New Age Newbie.
That's something else too, is that your inner critic very quickly runs out of things to say if you're already owning your shit. So I don't know. The inner critic is it's a hard one, because
it's like our default is I can't, not I can.
And you cannot point to any specific behavior because the inner critic is 100% internal.
Now, one of the best pieces of advice you gave last weekend for us, I think, on this point, was you talked about giving yourself an out, or thinking about the worst case scenario and giving yourself a plan, so that if it doesn't work out, you can just go for however much you're open to. Like with the coffee, can you share that one again for people that maybe weren't here last week?
Yeah, one of the examples that came up was somebody said that just going out for a coffee, somebody mentioned that they've become somewhat agoraphobic, and just going out for a cup of coffee is a really stressful experience for them right now, and they haven't done stuff like that for like months. And I said, like, little tiny things to accommodate, such as if you're going for a coffee, get your coffee in a to-go cup, in a travel cup, or bring a travel mug with you, so that you have control over your environment and can leave if it's like, oh, this isn't working out, I'm going to leave now. And you can leave in a positive You get to keep your coffee. You're not giving anything up. You're just simply calling an end to the portion of it that's problematic for you. And then it gets you anti-internet. That's interesting.
I could see why internet could be super challenging. It depends on where you're going and what you're trying to do.
I'm very anti-look up all the diseases.
Anti-self-diagnosing in general.
I'm very anti.
Or armchair diagnosing.
Yeah, I'm very anti-self-diagnosing because you can find resources that tell you
You've got
anything you want to hear.
It's so true.
Anything you want to hear.
It kind of depends on the context. Like, I think there's ways to be healthy when engaging with the internet,
online,
and there's ways to be super toxic when engaging with the internet.
The internet, when used correctly, is
an amazing. I feel like I should make a porn joke.
But it's an amazing resource for finding supportive communities.
Like ours. Ours is so supportive.
We're amazing. We love everybody. Yeah. But yeah,
you don't love everybody. I don't love everybody.
I'm old and cranky.
I love lots of people.
That was like the very first time you dragged me on camera. I said that like the first 30 seconds. It's like, I'm old and cranky. I hate everybody.
Peggy's very get off my lawn, but she still loves people. She's a big softie at heart. You can tell.
Okay, thing is though, I don't tolerate a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, Jen's right though. Some people use the internet as an excuse to be awful. I find that's true. Yeah, a lot of anonymous spaces. That's why we have trolls. That's why we don't feed the trolls.
There are some pockets of extreme toxicity on the internet. It's crazy. Bless
you. Bless you again.
Yeah, the internet in general can be a very hostile place.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's such a thing as too much immersion, too much internet.
I also think it's important to remember that sometimes the other really good comparison is that we compare our bloopers against other people's highlight reels. And this is true with things like YouTube that I think it's really important to remember is that we are super flawed, all of us. And like, that's one of the reasons I try to be really transparent. And Peggy and I talk about transparent stuff about our relationship and about communication and all this kind of thing. Because I think sometimes you watch people's channels and you're like, that person's so spiritual, they've got it all together. Or that
except for it took them 2 days to make the video because of all the heavy editing and all that shit that went into it. It's
so
like,
we don't really know.
If I say something,
but not even that. That's actually not entirely my point. My point's also like, sometimes people are always going to try to show their best self to the world. So we sometimes put people on pedestals, which is actually not great for us or them. Do you know what I mean?
It's like important to though. I'm amazing.
Okay, well, Peggy can have her pedestal.
And I still fart.
Please don't put me on a pedestal. I'm trying to not to put other people on pedestals because I spent a lot of time doing that. If somebody seemed like the expert on something, I assumed they were right about everything and that I was wrong if I disagreed with them. Just on a brain level, like internally, this is like my issue with authority figures. If somebody who seems like an authority figure, sometimes I will naturally devalue my own
highlight. But what Lisa means by highlight reel is like when you're seeing a trailer for a movie, they always show you the best of what to expect, of what's going on.
Kind of, yeah. Like basically it's just a way to say that when we're seeing other people, we're seeing them putting their best foot forward most of the time. So if we compare ourselves to how other people appear to us, it's actually not the whole story. Because we don't know what's going on beneath the surface. It's like what Dustin says. Everybody's fighting a battle you know nothing about.
Exactly.
Everybody. So I think it's important to just, Jen said it before I even said it, I think, because there's that delay.
Insta-perfect, yeah.
Yeah, that Insta-perfect. Yeah, Instagram is kind of funny for me. I kind of sort of like Instagram and I kind of sort of don't. I don't know. I like it a little bit. I like to browse it randomly, but I don't post. Like, I don't put pretty... I don't set up my pictures pretty. I just take my pictures and share them. I like it for chronicling my tarot and stuff, but...
Yeah, the internet in general, I don't know, like, it's...
There's filters, there's all these, like, superficial stuff, and then there's also the below-the-surface stuff where people don't tend to... Not everybody shows their ass on the internet, like, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah.
Unless they're anonymous somewhere, and then they turn
I've got both dogs draped over my lap right now.
They're cuddling, I know.
Yeah, you have to take it all with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I don't know,
But
I like the internet, but then again, I'm kind of selective on what I will and won't do online. So.
I've met everybody important in my life that wasn't related to me on the internet, pretty much.
Yeah.
Except for some people I met in school. But most people that are important to me, like all of my partners, all of my really, really close friends, almost everybody. Almost, I guess.
I was sitting in my little small town with no gay community, no anything.
And then you met me on the internet.
Yeah, I met Lisa online.
We met each other on the internet.
I would have never met her in the real world.
No,
so.
well, because I was in like the Seattle area and you're in freaking St. Thomas, Ontario.
We're like 2,000 miles
apart. I thought
apart.
Ontario was over top of New York, like all the way over. Yeah.
That's Quebec.
I didn't know anything about Canadian geography before I met you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would so use filters if I knew how to use them. Same.
Yeah, I think
so sometimes I can figure it out in like live face-to-face Facebook chats and stuff. I know how to turn filters on now to like give you the bunny ears and stuff. I don't know how to do it anywhere else or in any other context. We met playing a video game. We met playing
it wasn't a video. We met on a children's website called Neopets.
We met on my kids. We met at a website that was designed for like 7-year-olds.
Yeah, because my kids were on it.
Thank you. Yes, Barb girl, that's right.
My kids were on Neopets, and I played it to play with the kids. And lots of moms were on. There were a lot of moms that were on Neopets with their kids, and she.
I tell the whole detailed story on my Tarot Memoirs, The Fool video, if you're ever curious about our meeting story. You know what? I will say, Barb Girl says, I show my ass on Instagram and people have mentioned how refreshing it is. It is refreshing when people are like legit. And I want to mention Farah's comment too. She says, I think the tarot community is sincere, but it's hard to explain to family and friends. Here's the thing I will say that I've learned the hard way. Every community has its like shadow side. And the tarot community is no different.
Every community has its shitbags, and you just got to be smart enough to know how to avoid them.
I was saying that much more diplomatically, but good job. Anyways, what I was going to say is that I've gotten myself into trouble before when I have put communities on pedestals, and it kind of is good to keep that perspective that we all have our shadow side, we all have our stuff we're dealing with. One day I might be a jerk without realizing it to somebody, and then have to figure out how to apologize on the internet and do all of that stuff. We all have those flaws, and I found when I first found the first community I felt really truly a part of, I put that community on a pedestal, and as soon as the slightest thing went wrong in that community, I was devastated because I was like, because I thought this community was better than all the other communities, and the reality is we're all flawed people.
Oh hell yeah, we're all flawed.
So keep perspective, because again, it's important to this. So far, it's been a wonderful, warm, and welcoming community, but I'm sure we're gonna have our moments. You know, there's gonna be moments when we're not perfect, when we show a little bit of those flaws.
Well, of course, here's the thing.
Yeah, Jen, darn the humanity, can't escape it.
Well, this is the thing. Every single one of us, sooner or later...
Yes, Nikki, definitely speak up, sorry.
Every single one of us, sooner or later, is going to say something that is offensive to somebody else. You should see the knit and crochet community show aside. These people are whack. As a vegan crafter, they go
nuts on me about wool. There's things in every community. I swear, just, it's kind of like even silly things that we don't think are a big deal, but like sometimes, or like the makeup community, you diss the wrong like makeup artist or like makeup creator and suddenly everybody's being vicious. It's like,
oh, it's crazy.
It just, wherever there's a degree of anonymity, there's always going to be some crap that comes up. Like, always.
No, you
I like to think we're better than that as a community, but we're all the same normal people.
Well, the thing is that when the more you talk, the more you are going to
run the risk of offending somebody.
Yeah, your odds go up, and eventually reach 100% that you're going to say something that somebody's going to look at you and go, "Wow, that's really offensive." And here's the thing: is that somebody who knows me, likes me, and respects me is going to say, "What did you mean by that?" And we're going to have a conversation. Somebody who is a toxic shitbag who shouldn't be in my life is going to go, "Oh my God, you're a whatever." It's like if you've previously liked me and thought well of me and thought this and thought that, and you're going to change your entire opinion about me because of one thing I've said without the benefit of a conversation or a discussion or whatever, then I'm pretty sure it's not my problem.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I found something in the tarot community. Dude, okay, you want to hear something funny, Farah? I've been called a homophobe. Because, what was that? I forget the exact conversation that was happening.
Somebody just didn't know you were gay, and you had an opinion about something, and they assumed that meant you were homophobic.
That's what it was. Okay. There was a rainbow, the one community was putting in a rainbow sidewalk strictly for political points. They weren't they weren't hiding it, they weren't whatever. And I came in and I said, when you do stuff like that strictly for political points, you can really, because the entire community got riled up about this. It's like, you know where I'm talking about.
No, but that's okay. You can fill me in later.
Back at our old place when they put in the rainbow sidewalk.
Oh, the rainbow sidewalk.
The rainbow
gotcha.
sidewalk.
Sorry, I'm a little bit
So
spacey still.
this was being discussed in a social media group, and I basically came in and I said, I said this particular thing, because a rainbow sidewalk means a lot in the gay community. But I said this particular time and place and reason makes no sense
because they were not putting any resources
It's
into
a-
any actual programs.
it was
and
a,
things for kids. There was nothing.
Yeah,
It was literally just for the what do you call it? What's the optics?
It was for
just
the optics.
Yeah.
It was like this was in an area that has never had a notable gay presence. This was in an area where there are no pride festivals, no pride anything, and it was for show.
Yeah.
Now it gets better though, because road paint that is safe for use on roads is
really expensive.
Specially formulated, really expensive. This was a 100,000, no, 50,000. I think they changed it.
It was multiple thousands.
It was
of
like
dollars.
a $50,000 project at a time when there was a couple of other things that particular area needed that weren't being done.
And not only that, but it's
anyway,
if you've got 50 grand to spend on the gay community, could you please spend it on like programs?
The gay community?
Yeah.
So basically, I came in and I said, look, if the city, I said, this makes no sense. It's just for political points. If the city wants to spend this kind of money for a fucking sidewalk, why don't they spend the money and set up LGBT group because the high school
like an after school program.
The high school had been asking for a group, but the city kept saying they were asking for funding for something to do with being able to start up a group, and I think it was, I forget what it was. Anyway, I said and somebody came back and said, how fucking homophobic of you to not support the gay community, and I'm like, what?
Because they just assumed she wasn't gay
my comment was not, we don't need a fucking sidewalk. My comment was, this is being done for political points.
You mean crosswalk?
Crosswalk. I'm sorry, crosswalk. I've been saying sidewalk. My comment was not, fuck this. My comment was not ignorant. It was not rude. My comment was, this makes no sense. This makes no sense. There are no LGBT programs at all in the city. If the city wants to spend this kind of money, start an actual program. Mm-hmm. Because people are losing their minds over this. People are losing their minds over this waste of money, and it's causing a division.
It can actually create problems in the gay community.
It did. People came back and told me I was homophobic for suggesting it, and it's like, what?
But this is the point about how you can't please, you can't control how other people respond.
This is convoluted. This is convoluted, and this is convoluted and circular. This is why I filled you in with some of the background stuff on this. But the reality is that these people were so determined to push forward their agenda for we want this, that they weren't able to go, oh, you're not homophobic, you just have a different opinion on how homophobia should be fought against.
But this is why we hope that with the people that are in our relationships.
It was fucking crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
But this is why we hope that,
and I wasn't the only one.
This is why we want people that are invested in you or have previously been invested in you. If you say something that offends them and there's a connection there, the nice way to handle that, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, the nice way to handle that is to find out if there is, your water's, I think, down by your left foot.
My dogs are in my lap and in my way.
But, oh, there she is.
There's little Miss Princess, looking like a big old shadow.
I know, she's very black and she's got big ears. Don't die, Peggy, we need you, Princess. Yeah, don't die. Actually, we have to wrap up soon because I got to go for my float.
Anyway.
My float's at 12:30.
Oh, your float's at 12:30. Anyway. Yeah. But yeah, so my point, so all the way back to my point, sooner or later, okay, this particular example highlights, even though I didn't say anything that was actually offensive, people chose to get offended. And people not only chose to get offended, but they chose to make a horrendous accusation against me that was not true.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to have the conversation. They wanted to shut down the opposition. So who was the bigger problem? Me for having an opinion.
Your water's leaking onto you, just so you know.
Oops. Who was the big, anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to a float spa. I'm going to go float in a tank, in an isolation tank. You put earplugs in, and it's dark, and you float in I'm still on my soapbox. I'm sorry. I got asked my question, and I got distracted.
Anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how you represent yourself. It doesn't matter how you try to represent yourself. There is going to be somebody that's going to come along and be toxically offended by TP. There's somebody somewhere is going to come along and be toxically offended, even though you didn't do a damn thing.
I'll tell you guys how it was.
That's okay, Barbie girl. I'll forgive you once.
You called her Barbie girl. It's not Barb girl. Those are
Barb
very
girl.
different things.
Oh my God, I'm not wearing my
Suddenly
glasses.
the Aqua song is in all of our heads. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do that to people. That's
I'm
mean.
not wearing my glasses. I thought there actually was an eye. I
took your glasses and literally took them away because they
Anyway.
ran in the way of petting your head.
So, your inner critic, your sense of self-worth, all that stuff.
Bruno's coming into your
But
lap
the
now.
reality is
He's
that
stealing Sheila's spot.
if I say something,
He just literally climbed into Sheila's spot and started panting.
like if I were to say something problematic right now, right now,
good.
I would hope that somebody would say, "Hey, Peggy, what did you mean by that?" And if somebody's gonna go, I'm gonna down click and leave and fuck you. It's like then there's the door.
Then go for it.
You're welcome.
Bye.
You're welcome to it because
See you later.
if I want you to be offended, I will make sure that you know I'm trying to be offensive.
Yeah, don't forget to up click, by the way. It helps counteract the down clickers.
I don't think we have any, did we?
I have the one that everybody seems to have.
Oh yeah, apparently
there's like a one that everybody gets down clicks.
Apparently it's John from Cyprus.
What? What are you even talking about?
That's what Becca was saying on her live the other day.
Oh, I don't know who it is. I've never found out. I just know that there is a person that downloads all the other people. I don't know.
Yeah, Becca was on her live and chatting and chatting with Simon in the comments. Apparently there's a guy named John from Cyprus who trolls around for all these groups and
dislikes them.
It's like, thank you, because whether it's an upvote or a downvote,
YouTube counts it as an engagement.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't care. It's like somebody's reacting to this. That's a good thing. Anyway,
I think Bruno's explaining to us that we need to stop doing.
I don't.
Oh my God! Did you see this?
What did he do?
He just literally climbed up and was like, "Hello, I'm here now."
Hi, buddy. He's panting. He's so happy. Yeah, apparently his name's John and he's from Cyprus, but that's just a. But there's actually a few.
He laid down now.
Anyway, but no, shutting up your inner critic is probably. You never really shut up your inner critic because
you can't. Like, this is why I said you have to stick it in the back seat, or if like Peggy says, tied up in the trunk.
It's like yeah. Thanks for the memo. Now shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you kind of have to like distance.
Who took your
yourself
gag off?
Who took your gag off? Let me put that back on. I love that.
Gag was back on, back in the trunk.
Yeah.
The inner critic is also it's a scale. The inner critic is also
the
part
scale.
Of the scale. I love my
arm bar my wife.
Anyway, but we gotta go.
We gotta go too far. Have a good day, everybody. We're gonna sign off, but
we gotta go.
It was fun to sort of recap all the subjects. There will be no Self-Worth Saturday next weekend because I will be at the Northwest Tarot Symposium. There will be other videos going up on my channel that weekend. Whether or not other extra symposium videos go up, which I'm hoping to do.
Yeah, you gotta do one.
I gotta do at least
Do
one.
at least one.
And yeah, so it will be good. I'm gonna go have my float, and I'll let you guys know how that was.
Gonna take your floaties? Floating with floaties?
No, I saw a video. Somebody went to one of those, and there was a rubber duck that they could take in with them, though. I'm not gonna do that. Jen's like, I'll help make sure videos from.
No, he's part Chihuahua. He's a little itty thing. Like there's his whole head.
Dog. This is him.
This is Bruno the little dog.
All right, guys. I hope you all have a really lovely rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you all again very, very, very soon.
Bruno says goodbye.
We love and appreciate all of you guys. Have a good day.
Love you guys. Yeah, we were rambling, but I hope it was fun. I hope it was helpful.